Hey y'all, give me a second, just getting my thing oriented, and let me know if you guys can hear me or not, and if you can see me.
We're playing a soccer game. And Mommy doesn't count.
Hey everybody, I have some cool stuff that I want to say today. I want to talk about some specific things today. I'll wait till a few people pop in, but I'm going to have the conversation regardless. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. Tell me if you guys are still here. TCD style audit. Hey guys, we might have a cool guest that will pop in for a little bit of this live today. There's a few things I wanted to talk about that are actually pretty serious, interesting, serious, and okay, cool. Hey James, what's up, TCD? Yeah, I was on the other line for a second with some of our other people. Sorry, I'm getting my thing corrected here. Hey, Style Audit. Hey, everybody. I'm hoping another friend of mine comes in. You guys will welcome her. Hopefully she'll pop in and make a comment. You know who you are. So hopefully you're gonna, I know I saw you calling. Let's just put it that way. Please pop in. Everybody in my chat's super friendly and you should pop in. That message is for one specific somebody. Good. Hi, chat friends. Exactly. But seriously, you know who you are. Hopefully you're on the live and you can comment. Good conversation I had with this person this morning, someone that I've known for a long time, and we have some deep conversations about important things and just life type stuff. A lot of things got me thinking, guys, this week. I have a friend that passed away at around, hey, YG, what's up? Hopefully my other friend is going to pop in there, but YG, I'm happy you're saying hello too. But it's important what I want to talk about today. That's the honest truth. My brother, my only biological brother, is actually in town for the first time in years. He doesn't come that often. So you guys are going to get to meet him on, hopefully he's going to pop in towards the end of this chat. Like he's actually going to show up to the park, because I was on my way to the beach and of course bumped into those, don't want to curse like 3 seconds into this stream. But yeah, protecting the bench. Anybody that doesn't understand that little component can just ask everybody else in the chat. Everybody knows why I'm there. I was on my way to the beach, and the Air and Water Show is this week in Chicago, so you'll hear airplanes and crazy stuff going by. But yeah, so I'll give everybody else a little chance to get in. Hopefully people will actually pop in for this conversation, because it's a serious one and I wanted to share some stuff with you guys. But you know, this year marks a significant amount of years since I lost my friend. I lost a friend in 2014, right around this time. I lost a few friends that year, but one specific friend that was around this time of the year that he passed away. I can't remember the exact English date, but the Hebrew date is right around this time. But the reason I'm at the park is just because I saw Scientology and Scientology and ATCD. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's rough, but we, as friends, we all got through it together, and so it's become a powerful, you know, it's such a difficult thing to say. You're on, well, Marit, say hello to my chat right now. You better say hello. They're expecting a hello. YG, this is another Yiddish Neshama, not too far from you guys, YG. The New York area, New York. Now I'm doxing her, but I just saw you message me. Please say hello in the chat. I've already let everybody know that you're going to be here. What's up, James? Thank you. Yeah, it's rough. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. But one of the things that I wanted to discuss is with regards to, you know, what happened to him. And it's not just about him. It's something that's just come up recently for me. Personally, in my life, I've had a number of conversations recently with people. And in fact, I had a wonderful conversation this morning. Amy! Good. Catch up, Amy, because it is, I'm sorry, guys, the Air and Water Show is in Chicago. It's actually better that I'm not at the beach and that I'm here, because it would be even louder at the beach. The planes are like going crazy. On Sunday, I'm going to go live from the actual Air and Water Show. It's worth it. You guys won't be able to hear me, but it's worth it. But Amy, hopefully Marit will say hello. A friend of mine is in this chat. She let me know she's in the chat. She's a good friend. And in fact, this morning, I actually had a great conversation with her as well about trauma and stuff. She had been watching over the summer my videos. We hadn't spoken in a little bit of time, but it's just an interesting conversation when it comes down to trying to understand these aspects of life, right? So you can have like anything occur at any given time. I guess I'll start from this. Let's just start with this. Any form of experience, I know, right? TCD, I'm right on the same page as you. Amy definitely deserves those hearts. So, you know, I think that there's like a real huge misconception when it comes to topics like the one that I want to discuss with regards to people passing, and, you know, let's just refer to it as an before their time. I like to say, like, it's really not, because whenever a person passes, that is their time. But I like to say the words before their time because you're just referring to somebody who was way too young, wasn't sick with, any form of deathly illness, but on the same page, he actually was, because he would still be here if he was not suffering from his own personal illness, and he had his own issues, and he had his own stuff in his life. And the worst thing I've ever experienced regarding my friends that have passed is when people pass judgment on them or their family, or like as if it's something that is so easy to sorry guys, I'm actually trying to work out therapeutically. I have to do some physical therapy on my wrist, so I'm holding this in the other hand. So I can't, for some reason, Amy, why don't the chats stay up? I'm gonna just drop this thing on the floor. I just dropped it. Let's see if I can get it to stay up. Sometimes I have to keep refreshing to see that you guys are there. Anyway, so thank you, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. And I really hope that my friend from the East Coast also, who's in this chat, actually says something, right? It is always wonderful to see Amy all the time. Amy's amazing. And Amy, if everything works out schedule-wise, my only biological brother is in town for the first time in years, and I have not seen him in a few years, which is crazy because we are insanely close. My baby brother, he's not such a baby, but he's significantly younger than me. But so I got caught up in conversations recently with regards to this. I was speaking to a family that recently had a loss. I was speaking to another family recently about this stuff, and the anniversaries of the passing of people in general in Judaism is actually, maybe Amy can explain it, well, and I use this word not because it's I just use, when I'm talking about something so from a secular perspective, it's hard for me to describe why it's so significant. But we light candles, and there's a bunch of significant things we do when it's the anniversary of someone's death. And when we have people that go too soon, right? So, we're constantly, anybody that's a friend or a family member or whatever, we're constantly in this mode of, it's the right family members and the right friends. I wouldn't call it judgment, but I would say dissonance, right? There's this, I'm gonna wait for this train. Guys, tell me always if you can't hear me for some reason because of the train or the airplanes. Because the Air and Water Show, which you guys are going to get to see live on Sunday. I'm going to take you guys out to see the airplanes live. And if someone has my phone tomorrow, because I will be out by the lake tomorrow, but it's Shabbat. But if somebody actually has my phone out there, whatever, somebody wants to hit it on live, I don't mind if it goes live. But I typically don't do it on Shabbat. But anyway, so tomorrow and Sunday are the big days for the Air and Water Show. So, as I was saying, I think it's a significant, trauma in general is a significant thing, right? Obviously, when it comes to trying to live in life, in the world, in this world that we live in, right? Trauma is such a difficult thing to grasp and to understand. And hey, I mean, that's why we have this whole, all of these live streams, they came up because, everything with regard, why do we care so much about Scientology? Why? Why, excuse me, why do we give a fuck? For what? What's the purpose of caring in the first place? How did we get to the spot where we have all of these people that are trying to, be out there? And yeah, everybody might have their reason for live streaming, but ultimately, if they were harmless, if Scientology was harmless, then none of us would care. I think you guys would agree, right? If they were just some, imagine somebody claims to be a yoga guru. And I don't mean a cult way, but I've seen people that go to a yoga class and it's just not, it's not hurting them, but whatever. It's just not, it's not yoga. It's not like what you could be receiving from another school. But if it doesn't hurt anybody, and imagine they're getting it for free, right? We like the yard site. Thank you. That's exactly correct. The yard site. Yard site is the anniversary of the death of a parent or close relative. That's correct. That is a very good point, Amy, actually. I want to bring up that point because, yeah, for the entire day. It's great. Very good. Amy's amazing. See, I knew Amy would be able to assist me in even better explanation. I'll tell you why it's so significant also is because, and I'm happy, Amy, that you wrote also a close friend, because typically Amy's correct. It's usually just for a family member. Like that's, let's put it this way, like the Jewish, let's call it law, right? It's called a mitzvah. It's a bad translation. It's not like law, like, oh, you broke you have to keep the speed limit. We're not talking about a law like that. But regardless, what's the purpose? Like, what's the purpose of even doing this, right? So we have the symbolism, anybody that watched Human Nature to Care, that is correct. My why is due to the universal law. I was moved to take part in change. There you go. There you go. Yes. The yard site is lit on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. That is very true. And it's so 3 times a year, even not on the day itself. There's 3 times a year. I wish I can get my phone to keep the chat because I want to see what you guys are saying, but I keep having to hit the button. Anyway, Amy's 100% correct. And there's a few times a year where we even do something, and it's called Yizkor, which means to remember. It's a big deal, right? And if you don't, if like your parents are still alive or your siblings are all alive or your children are still alive, you don't say this. You don't stay in the synagogue. In fact, out of respect for the holiness of those that passed, everybody else in the synagogue literally walks outside. Most like onto the sidewalk, and gives about 10 minutes where the rabbi sits there and he says the prayer for anybody that can't say it themselves, but if you can read it yourself, you could say it, English, Hebrew, whatever language you want. And that happens 3 times a year on Yom Kippur, and then on the last day of Sukkot and the last day of Passover. Those 3 are like guaranteed. Some people do it also on some other days, but those 3 times a year we do that. And there's a symbol, right? I mean, you could think about it from the context of like, light and fire is kind of like one of the ways that we, it's one of the ways that we connect to understanding what life is, right? We all, when you think of life and when you think of this stuff and you speak to other religious people, there's a lot of symbolism in fire, right? There's a lot of symbolism in, and if you think about it from a real perspective, it's very true also within the context of just typically speaking, like if you were to just, understand things from the most basic level. Yizkor is Ashkenazi Jewish memorial prayer service for the dead. It is an important occasion for many. Exactly correct. Amy, you're the bomb. And so, you have to ask yourself, even like what is that symbolism when you light the candle, right? What does it mean to be alive? And you think of the fact that we need energy, right? There needs to be some form of energy for us to be alive, for your heart to pump, for your kidneys to work, for your, it all needs to be, working together, but it's always within the context of, TCD, you're awesome. I love when you guys talk to each other. It's the bomb. So if you think about it, right, you think about what is it, like, why is it so important and significant to remember people, right? And to remember all this stuff. Yes, it's consoling, right? It's very consoling to remember. It's very therapeutic to do these things, right? There's like a therapeutic component as well, right? But you have to ask yourself, like, why do we care so much? And why do we do these things to bring up conversation about those who have passed, right? On like at least during this time. And for me, and most like rabbinical authorities or whatever will tell you that the significance is also because we should constantly be trying to remember these people, but to make sure that you don't forget to make sure that we do everything we can for these people. It's like putting flowers by the grave. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you understood, but when I was out there by the plane crash and we were laying stones. So in Judaism, we don't typically put, you could, but we don't typically put flowers. We put stones. And it's funny that at the plane crash, they decided to do that this year and put out stones. I'm going to read what Amy wrote because it's always important. Historically, European Jews have been classified as belonging to two major groups of Ashkenaz. That's right, or Germanic, exactly. In the medieval Hebrew, they're Central European based. Yes, that's exactly correct. To add to James' question, or compared to the rosary, not exactly. We're Hispanics, right? Sephardic. That's my daughter is engaged to a Sephardic, and my ex was Sephardic. I love that. I love Sephardic. I love it that my daughter, who's like, her dad was like totally Ashkenazic, is because I'm the one that loved it. My ex was like loved keeping my customs, but I always loved her customs, and now my daughter's marrying a Iranian, an Assyrian Jew. But essentially, you guys are correct within the context of like thinking about rosaries or whatever. So yeah, there is symbolism behind those things also. I'm sorry, guys, that the picture is so shaky right now. Yes, I will say that you guys are totally comprehending what I'm trying to express, but I don't want to say better. I'll say this. I'll say that in Judaism, it's a very spiritual connection that you have with the other side, right? So people that are not in this world, one of the only ways to connect to them is by doing things that can reach their, let's call it their souls, right? You like the Ashkenazi food? I like the Sephardic food. Amy, my ex, oh my God, my wife's the best cook ever. Amazing. My friends used to come over in Israel all the time just to eat. In the Catholic Church, you can have a mass said. Okay, it sounds interesting. So the only thing that I'll say the big difference that I always say to people, one of the most major differences between Judaism and other religions is, in Judaism, you don't need to talk to a priest. And I'm not saying this is wrong for, the Catholic or the Christian community. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm simply pointing out a fact. Within those worlds, within those communities, right, within that religion, to connect to God or to the other side, let's call it the other side, to connect, you have to kind of speak to the priest, right? So you have to atone for your sins. You have to go say, you go and you admit your sins to a priest or whatever. And then the truth is that in Islam, it's a little bit closer to the way that we do things in Judaism. But essentially, we believe that you just talk directly to God. You don't need a synagogue. The whole synagogue thing was only created after we lost the temple, which the anniversary of that, it's kind of crazy. We're talking about this just right now, and this is why it came up, but right now, we're in the period that's called the 9 days. Okay, and it started as the 3 weeks. So the 3 weeks actually started, the Hebrew date is the day after the Hebrew date of my plane crash. And during those 3 weeks, people used to not fly, do anything dangerous. They don't go swimming. Rita, there you go. Everybody say hi to Rita, guys. She's a good friend. Amy, you and Rita definitely need to connect. You guys are not far from each other. You guys need to connect. Thank you. And by the way, guys, the conversation that I was saying earlier that I had today with regards to trauma was with Rita. Me and Rita were just discussing it because Rita was catching up on my videos. So the major thing, what I was trying to point out is in Judaism, the one thing that I guess differentiates it from most other religions is that we don't need anybody else to talk to God. That's just our belief. Like, you just can talk to God directly. The 3 weeks, which started the day after the anniversary of my plane crash is actually a time that we consider it a dangerous time. We consider it a time of mourning. Like, men don't shave. I didn't shave actually I have to because of my scars, so I have to shave. But I didn't shave till today, so at least when I shaved, it was like special for Shabbat, because otherwise this is a period of time of mourning, of grief. Because during these 3 weeks, during this period of time, if you literally date all the way back to the loss of the temple, which is on Tisha B'Av, which is this coming up Tuesday, we lost the temple mostly because we were not kind to our fellow man. But the major point is that health is first. That is absolutely correct. And it's a very famous line that my rabbi always says. He says, life before religion, because without life, there is no religion. So life first. He's very big on getting, like, some of the people I work with to go to, let's say, AA meeting, let's say on Shabbat. And they're like, well, I don't want to drive. No, you're supposed to. It's extra special for you. If that's what you need to do, you need to go. Run to a church. Run out of the synagogue. Because the meetings are mostly in churches, not as much in synagogues. We do have one meeting in Chicago that's in a synagogue. But typically speaking, if you want to go like daily to, let's say, an AA type meeting or NA, whatever, one of the anonymous groups, typically speaking, you have to go to a church or whatever. And the rabbis don't joke about it. They're dead serious. They're like, leave the synagogue and go to a church. If that's what you need to stay healthy, if that's what you need to have life, get out of here. I don't want you in synagogue. I'd rather you be in that church, in that meeting with the other people out there that are suffering as well in the same way. And it's really funny that I just had that thought, because it's going to connect in a second. I'm going to connect for everybody what I'm trying to say here. But essentially, this is a time where, like, unfortunately in Jewish history, you can literally look from the beginning of time as we know it. So just look at, like, the biblically speaking, right? So the beginning, if you believe in that, if you believe that, there are 7 days and da-da-da-da-da. So obviously, people can make arguments about the millions of years or whatever. God first is, in my opinion, is used as a manipulation. I hear you. Yes, man. I mean, in Judaism, it's not at all. In Judaism, I always tell people that people have to understand Judaism is not a religion. Judaism itself is a race, or, you can take a blood test. You can take a blood test to see if you're African or if you have this jet. See if we can catch it. So loud, I can't see them. Here in the water show. There they are. I don't know if you guys saw that. They were flying four formation. It's called a flock formation, like a flock of birds. I completely agree with that component. I think that religion very often, in many cases, is very... Sometimes when I see people that claim to be like religious leaders and they're just like, they have private jets and it just becomes insanity to me. I mean, it makes no sense. The whole reason... Let's see if I look at that guy's... ripping. He is so high and it's so loud. They break that sound barrier. Yes, very often in religion, things are used for money. It's very sad that occurs, and thank God I never had that experience in my life with regards to religion. That's just my experience. And again, you guys have to remember that when I talk about it, I'm not the way that I grew up. Like, I'm not as quote unquote religious, right? But being Jewish, you could get blood tests and you'll see, whether or not you're Jewish. So Judaism starts off like no one even cares. Like, my brother that you guys are going to meet today, he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. If you want to be, you can't be an atheist and a Christian at the same time. You can't say, I believe that, I believe that you need to, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but I need to be careful because I feel like sometimes I'm misunderstood. Blood work to determine if carried Ashkenazic genetic disorders. Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is absolutely correct. You have to take those blood tests. Judaism is 100% something that you can find out the same way you can find out if you're Latino or if you're African or if you're... And within Judaism, obviously, there are every in fact, like, we know that 8 out of the 12 tribes were almost for sure 8 out of the 12 tribes, Jewish tribes I'm talking about, like the children of Israel, as they call it, which, who was Israel? People always forget that. Who was this person, Israel? Well, make a long story short, it was Jacob. Jacob's name got changed from Jacob to Israel because of, I'm going to save that story for when I get the next interview with, I have something very cool to talk about when I get the next interview with Wendy. But the point is, right now we're in this period of time where there's these 3 weeks, and then within the 3 weeks, the last 9 days we take very seriously. We like, for example, we don't eat meat, we don't drink wine, we don't do any of the stuff that you would do, any of the stuff that you would do that's special, that's like enjoyable or whatever. Let's see this. Buddhists have a few special memorial days as well. Time for the offering and prayers. Okay, there you go. Share your blessing. Very cool. Why not get tested before not trusting this world? By the way, James, that's a phenomenal question. And just so you know, in the religious community, like right before you get, if you're getting really serious with like, if you're getting very serious with somebody, like it looks like you're probably getting engaged or whatever, you do get tested. They do. In my community, everyone takes this test before they get married. They actually do. And I know people that were just so in love and they knew that it wouldn't be good and they got married and they adopted. That just was their choice because they didn't want to put the baby or the mother health Tay-Sachs test. That's correct. That is 100% correct. That's exactly correct. Tay-Sachs is the most significant one that occurs because the Jewish people were very small. We all came from, as they famously say, the four mothers. So we were a tiny little nation. They say that there were 600,000, let's say. Really, there were more, but 600,000 at least men but that was it. I mean, there were only 600,000 grown men when they were in the desert and receiving the Torah according to history. Yeah, I'll bet you did, Amy. Everyone does. I wonder, Rita, if you're still in here, Rita, you can pop in also. Rita actually is Sephardic. So Rita, I'm doxing Rita like crazy right now. Rita's actually Sephardic, so it's not as common amongst the Sephardic people, but which is complicated when you're thinking of all these different little sects of where the son died of Zomiyad. Yeah, I know of a bunch of unfortunate cases also where they didn't get checked. I mean, the rabbis always say, like, find out. Like, you got to find out and then make a choice. If you still want to marry that person, that's 100%. That's 100% fine. By TCD. You'll listen. Definitely continue to listen because I want to make a little bit of a powerful point today. After having a few discussions, so let's just review for a second. So there was these 3 weeks which just started not that long ago from Russia. Thank you, Rita. There you go. I forgot if you were from Russia or if you were from, for some reason I couldn't remember if it was Iran or Russia. So Bukharian, which is that's the type of Sephardic, right? Rita, tell me if I'm right. I think it's Bukharian. She's probably Bukharian, if I'm correct. Amy can answer. Yeah, definitely. Amy, you're helping me out, Amy, a lot. So, because I want to keep you guys on the same track so you can understand my major point that I'd like to make today. So, essentially, these 3 weeks, they represent a lot because if you look in the history, all the bad things that happened, even literally during the Holocaust and during the pogroms, during Kristall, if you look at all these different horrible, horrific things, more Jews died on this one day called Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of the month of Av, which is going to be in a few days, right? More people have died, more pain has been experienced by the Jewish people, anything you could think of, like any other day. Look at those guys. On any given day, you can look at like the statistics of what happened, right? So if you think about like all the pain that we've been through in this world, even and it's good Rita brings up Russia, people forget like Germany and Poland when the Jews suffered in the Holocaust. That was kind of like a newer thing. the Jews from Russia, I mean, Stalin killed more Jews theoretically over a longer period of time than quote unquote Hitler did or whatever. So that's actually, it is significant actually where she's from. Yeah, that I'm going to do that from now on. Thank you. That is a good point. It's going to be like this the whole weekend. I'm happy I'm not at the beach. It would be 1,000 times worse. And then on Sunday, I'm going to actually go live so you could see the show. It's so cool. And my captain of the plane crash, he used to fly for the Blue Angels, the very famous flying team, the Blue Angels. He actually was he was a Blue Angel for his entire career. He continued even after the Air Force, even after the Army, even after everything. So the 3 weeks starts this period of time where we mourn bad things that have occurred, right? The 9th day of Tisha B'Av, it's called, which is coming up this week. 1 second. It's a bird. It's a bird. It's the metaphor. So essentially we take this period of time and we think deeply about life and the significance of life. And we think about the blessings that we have, and we talk about the important components that are so important within the context of like not just spirituality. It's like literally, like we were saying before. I know, I heard about that, Amy. It's so crazy. I don't understand like how this is, I don't even want to get into it too much right now because I'll start getting way too passionate about that. But yes, Amy, I was thinking like, I didn't want to bring it up in the chat now because I didn't want to have to, make everybody crazy, but I was absolutely, I am on the same page as you. I could not believe it. It was just, it's crazy. It's so crazy what's going on in the world. And no one really knows. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. But the point is that there's these 3 weeks, and then the last 9 days of the 3 weeks are extra significant, right? So we have 3 weeks, we have these 9 days, and throughout this period of time, we essentially are mourning as if we just lost a relative, as if, like people, I'm sure that you guys have heard the thing called sitting Shiva, which is when, right after a person passes, so they, the family, the immediate family, for 7 days they mourn, and it's a very significant thing, right? So we treat these days, these 9 days especially, right? You got it, Jamie. You got it. Thank you. Definitely watch it back. You'll like it. Yeah, these times it's just right. Exactly. Thank you, Rita. So these times are known for this, right? Negative energy in the air. I like the way you said that, Rita. You're right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. It's like negative energy. Exactly. I like that. That's a very good way of explaining it. Thank you. Sometimes I use way too many words when it could be just explained so simply. But have a good night, James. And listen when you come back, especially if you're interested in trauma and components of life that exist within that context. So we have these 3 weeks. We have these 9 days. They are practicing style audit. Yes, that is correct. Style audit, come out. I have passes on Sunday if you want to meet me in Evanston. A lot of people come out to the private beaches. I'm in Evanston, and we can go sailing or whatever. The Blue Angels style audit was my captain from the plane crash. He flew for the Blue Angels. So that is one of the formations that fly. The Blue Angels are not the same as it used to be, but in fact, the only time the Blue Angels fly in current times is during the Air and Water Show. Chicago is the most famous Air and Water Show, but there are others as well around the country. I'm sure you can. I can't wait for the 9 days to be over too, right? No meat. For a man, you can't shave. You can't, you're not supposed to do a lot of things. Now, there's always dispensations for people that need to, like for my guys that go to the beach and the program I run, I have to swim every day for my health. The rabbis would always say, life, like that's what God would want. Like just like God wants other people to not do this. If you have to do it for your health, God is extra happy according to truth. So God is extra happy for you to actually, quote unquote, break that law, right? Let's say a woman needs a certain amount of protein or just want to rip it right now. So for were the Blue Angels. It's so crazy that we're talking about them. Right now, those are the Blue Angels. So these last 9 days are very significant, and it's fun. It's crazy. You can ask so many people that a lot of people like will randomly pass away right around this time, and people famously in my community talk about the fact that my plane crash was the day before the 3 weeks started, which was like, showed like extra special that God was going to save me. Whatever. I don't like talking about it like that because then it makes it sound like other people, that do these things during the 9 days are wrong. And I fly during the 9 days, and if you have to, you have to. You don't have to like not. Again, it's life before religion, because without life there is no religion, so it doesn't really matter, right? Yes, exactly correct, Amy. I know many people that have to eat meat. I know a lot of moms that their doctors will tell them, like when they're nursing specifically, that there are some people that it's not even like a must. Like there is you can get protein from other places, but the doctor will say, no, the best place to eat, if you do eat meat, like on a consistent basis. They'll tell a lot of pregnant or nursing moms, if they typically have meat in their diet, they'll say, don't you stop. Everyone else can't, but you can, you should. It's always life before religion. So I find it fascinating that I have lost people in my life. And I'm not referring to people that are elderly, that it's their time or whatever. Let's say, what people refer to as passing away by nature, within the context of elderly, old age, or whatever. We're talking about like sudden traumatic things, whether it's like all of a sudden someone gets super sick, or it's just a lot. In Judaism, if you look at these 9 days, I heard from somebody that it's 1,000 times any other given day. The amount of people that have passed away or been through traumatic events or whatever, literally over I forgot the number, but it's some insane number. Like everybody knows that day is like so special on Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av, which again is coming up this week. So I bring it up because I lost a friend, one of my friends, and a few years ago, before I had worked on myself and all my trauma and picked my life back up, I would just be bawling right now on the phone. But I am capable at this point, once I got healthy, to talk about it in a healthy way. And I know that my friend would want me to. He would want me to. So the question becomes, what happened? Like, why was... I'll give an example. I don't want to say the name of the family, whatever. But I had another friend, and this was a little bit more famous. So I'm going to use his situation as an example. Abba 136. Family sends love as well. Which Akiva is that? I love you guys too. Oh, what's up? Akiva. Oh, guys, Akiva's dad is one of my favorite people. Bumped into Akiva's family when I was randomly in the neighborhood in Israel. They live. I really hope they're safe, Akiva. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope your dad's doing good. Love your dad. Literally one of my favorite people. By the way, Akiva's dad, if you want to really know, Akiva's dad was one of the first 3 people to fund my program that I run. Akiva's dad was one of the first 3 people, one of the greatest people his dad's like one of my favorite people. Such a cool dude. Wow, now you got me thinking about your family, Akiva. Hey, MDMA. Yes. They're safe and well. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. For a second, I was thinking about them, and Ari Turk lives down the block from them. One of my best friends also lives on the same block. I was thinking about them the whole time that all this has been going on. I'm happy they're safe and good. So during these days, right, we have this period of time, and it's ironic how it's not ironic that a lot of things happen to almost anybody. You'll speak to any Jew who'll be like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. This and this happened on this, there was this horrific accident, or there was this, horrible disease that somebody just popped up with, or, randomly someone had a heart attack, or, everybody has like a story or another, right? There you go, MDMA. Yes, Abba 123. I like that, by the way, Caleb. Abba means dad, guys, just so you know, in Hebrew. So, what I constantly feel is important, and what I'm always telling my friends, and what I'm always telling family members, and what I'm always telling all the peeps in my program that I run, and all this stuff that goes on, I'm constantly telling them that you need to work through whatever it is, right? One of the most significant components of, bad situations that occur, Rita, I call them MDMA. I'm dyslexic. The first time I saw it, I literally thought that was the name, and I just think of my being a teenager, MDMA. I'm not going to stop with that MDMA. And Rita, he has Chai. His number's MDMA Chai. So MDMA for life. MDMA for life. Yes, Rita, you would love that. His Abba 123's entire family. Akiva's awesome. So I think about it, and I think about the people that we've lost in our lifetimes, and I think of like my friend. And just recently, I heard somebody that was throwing a huge amount of judgment out there, right? And I want to use this as an example for a moment, okay? In Scientology, we know that people mysteriously pass away, they disappear, bad things happen, and no one can explain it, and they are responsible, right? Now, you have to ask yourself, like, how did it get to that point in the first place, though, right? So you can go through the process of trying to understand how someone got to the point. But typically speaking, right? Thank you, Amy. Alphanumeric is what it's called in Hebrew, in English. The letters in Hebrew are numbers. There aren't numbers and letters. It's like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Like that's the way it is. So your name or certain special words can end up equaling the number that also equals something else. Happens to be the word life, Chai, equals 18. So 18 is a very significant number. Very significant number. 18 is like it's the two letters that equal 18 are they equal the two letters that equal that's the word life in Hebrew is two letters. Those two letters are equal 18 if you look at it from an alphanumeric perspective. Like if you make the equation of each letter, it's numeric worth, and add them together, and it becomes this significant number. But the major reason that I'm bringing all this up, and I think this is such a significant thing, and it really, really hit me hard yesterday. I was having a few conversations with different people, but somebody, so let's say somebody says something like, I want to try to use myself as an example. I don't want to get into anybody, even though you guys don't even know necessarily the people that I'm speaking of. But let's just say for myself, right? So I'll say in my life I completely fell apart, right? My life just completely fell apart. Now thank God I'm still alive, right? But if you just think about the aspect of who I am and the fact that my life fell apart, right? So someone might say, well, what happened, right? That's a legit question. It's legitimate to ask. What occurred? What happened where you ended up falling apart? Now, obviously, the answer is not so simple. The answer is a complicated one, right? But the reason that I ended up finally getting help, the reason that I finally got the help that I needed was because of a doctor prescribing me too much medication. I was not in my right mind, didn't realize that it was actually literally killing me. And yes, I was getting it from a doctor. and eventually something horrific happened. Thank God I was in my mom's house. It's something I'm going to talk about at length on Wendy's the next interview, because I want to explain to you guys how significant it is with regards to what happened to me in my life. But you can ask yourself, so what happened to me? Now, somebody can look at my situation and say, oh, Israel had to go down to Florida for this special type of therapy and blah, blah, blah. And what was the kicker? People think like overdose or something like that, right? So let's just use that as an example. Thank God I'm still here. No, I wasn't like shooting up or anything like that, but it was very dangerous what was going on in my life. And thank God my family was there to recognize that danger, because I was not in my right mind. So someone can just simply say, well, this is why the person passed away, right? They could say that was, or this is why the person went and needed help, right? Somebody can easily say in my life that doesn't know me that well, or that does know me, but they might say, oh yeah, he finally got sent down to this very special type of therapy, which is not your typical rehab for drugs, because they recognized that my problem was not drugs, right? And I'll never forget, my wife was sitting there. I was still married at that time. And, I put her through a lot, and she was there in group therapy, and I was getting yelled at. It's kind of like the type of therapy. It was really not good for me, but that's what they do. Literally, it's very abusive, but for some people it works. But either way, I was being yelled at. I'm going to email her. I'm going to email Natalie. I will. I very much so will. And I appreciate that you always are doing that. So, my mom finding me and not being able to wake me up, again, something I'm going to discuss at greater length when Wendy and I do the next installment of the interview. But when that happens, so somebody that knows that occurred, right? They can say, oh, Israel went down for rehab, like talking about drugs. That's not what it was. And even while I was there, the therapist was yelling at me, screaming, you're da 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 da, and yelling at me, but you have a drug problem. And I didn't want to argue back. I just got to the point where I'm just like nodding my head, even though it's not the case. I'm not a person. I have many friends that if they drink, there's a very famous comedian. He says, I love it. I don't know if you guys know who Theo Von is, but he's hilarious. And one of the things he says, I have to stay completely sober. And they're like, well, you can't just have one beer. Someone asked him this. And his response was, I can have one beer and then I'll have 12 more of cocaine. He's being serious. He's like, once I start, I cannot stop. It's people consider it biologically a disease. There are so many different theories with regards to substance abuse. There's so many different theories out there with regards to whether or not it's biological, whether or not it's has to do with your childhood. People can make the argument left and right, but regardless, we know that there are people that are what we refer to as addicts. And the only way for them to continue to live life and to survive is to do what they need to do, stay sober, go to meetings, all the typical things that you hear in that field. It's crazy how it's really stayed the same. Very much it has been the same throughout history. From the time that AA began, people literally followed that basic set of rules and it works for them. That's great. Even those individuals that are addicts, even those individuals that are alcoholics, right? So let's say not someone like myself, because I'm sitting in a room, and in that room there are other people that have a serious problem with, and if I had a serious problem with it, I would just say it. I have no reason not to. Do I personally stay sober completely? Yep, I personally stay sober. Why do I do that? It's because it's just kind of like, it keeps me healthy within the mindset of, well, anybody could fall into addiction really easily if they're dealing with really difficult things. All you want to do is get away from that. All you want to do is run. Yes, there are very few, but there are addicts out there that literally, it's just this disease that they have, right? Typically speaking, a person can look back in their life and tell you aspects of their life that got them to the point where they became addicted to said substance, whatever it might be, right? Now, I'm just being honest. It would be dishonest when I'm sitting in a room full of these people, and I help create meetings now, and I was mentioning before that I'm in touch with We lost this unbelievable rabbi. I was so close with him, Rabbi Dr. Abraham J. Torsky. Anybody that wants to read some of those brilliant, academically, just an unbelievable. His name was Rabbi Dr. Abraham J. Torsky. He wrote a book called Peanuts. He used the cartoon Peanuts to talk about life and addiction and all this other stuff. But my major point is this. So any one of those people can look at their life and understand within the context of their experiences where things went off the rails, right? When did it begin? When did they all of a sudden start having this issue? When did this problem begin? How did it start? What were their experiences? And I'm sure you guys all know someone out there that suffers on some level or another from addiction or whatever, whatever it is, right? It's not always a substance that's your addiction. Sometimes people are literally, like for me, more than anything, I just sleep. I was literally addicted to being asleep when I was going through my trauma. When the plane crash really hit me, all I wanted to do was sleep. I was so scared that I wasn't scared that I was going to be physically harmed. It was more of a social thing. I was very scared for my children, and it really destroyed so much of our lives because I had these immense fears that I never expected to just pop up 20 years after, some crazy experience, right? But you can easily MDMA. I will. You guys are right, and it's really not fair to just sit back and not, because you guys know that on the other channel that I have, I let them just run it themselves. But you guys know that I like keeping my channel the way that it is because I can interact with you guys. But I will. It is important. It is important for me to talk to Natalie. I will. And you're right. It could help other people, and it is an important component, and especially within the context of Scientology, I can definitely relate. And I have. Yes, thank you, Amy. You're the best, Amy. Yes, guys, check out that book. Oh my God, he's one of the most brilliant people ever. He helped me create my program that I have, and he was the #1 psychiatrist in the world for addiction. When he passed away, the universities all around the world mourned his the loss. He lived, thank God, he was like close to 100 years old. But he was unbelievable. I used to talk to him about everything. He helped me so much because my mom randomly, I'll tell you, some people joke around how I know a lot of people. Like Wendy jokes around how I just end up. It is true. I know a lot of people. It's kind of cool. I love that. But I say that because how did I get connected to this rabbi who was literally like a celebrity, right, in the world? My mom went to school with his daughter for 8 years straight. They were in like Hebrew school together, and they were dorming. They both lived in cities where there weren't religious day schools, and so they both went to the same day school. Long story, but I ended up connecting with him after the plane crash. He helped me tremendously, and I never disconnected from my relationship with him, and always stayed the same. When I finally fell apart, he was right there for me. He did not like the fact that I went to the place I went to for therapy. I only found that afterward, that he was not a fan. But he understood what I'm talking about right now. He understood that aspect of, think to yourself, where did it start? Like, why did I get to the point where my mom could not wake me up? How did I get there, right? And even if I got there, right, in that spot, I got to that spot the way that I got there, but other people that also suffered, let's say directly from the plane crash, other survivors, they didn't necessarily have that exact same experience that I did. Not necessarily at all. They might have had a completely different component of their life that was affected by it, right? There are so many different elements that can contribute to when a person hits that, let's call it rock bottom, right? I just heard someone the other day talking so judgmentally, and somebody had said, my family member, they were like, what happened to this family member of yours? And the person said, well, they were in a messed up situation and they got involved, let's say something like Scientology, not that different, right? Got involved with the wrong people, and that started like spiraling out of control, and eventually they ended up with a substance abuse issue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then they passed. So now, if you're a family member or a friend of that individual, and you know that, like my friends, if any of my friends will tell you that they all think it's crazy that I still don't drink, don't, whatever. They know that I never had a problem with that. It's not that. I was sitting there being yelled at by the therapist, and my wife started crying. Like she was very quiet. She was like she wasn't like, she was like very sweet and soft and quiet, smiles, whatever. She starts crying, and the therapist starts yelling, "See what you've done? You've destroyed her life." And I'm crying now. I'm feeling horrible about these past, let's say, 2 years that I put her through. And then she says to my therapist, she says, "No, no, 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 you don't understand. He doesn't have a drug problem. He has problems that led him down this road." And the therapist even stopped for a moment, respected it, because my wife was only there to help me in this like group therapy setting. And from that point on, I was actually treated differently, and finally started working on the things that I needed to work on. Because this overwhelming component of substance abuse for me personally, and I'll tell you guys how powerful this was for me. Imagine I'm sitting in a room, and I still do go to meetings for one purpose. That prayer that they say. And I want you guys to think about this for a second, okay? Whether you believe in a God or something, it doesn't matter. But think about the concept. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now think about how brilliant this is. So let's say you believe in God or some spiritual being or whatever. So you're saying, God, it doesn't say give me the ability to accept what I cannot change. It's not what it says. Because all addicts will tell you that one of their number one problems is they try to control everything. And then when they can't control it, they completely fall apart, which is for sure what happened to me. So that's where I connect. But think about this. It's God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You're not praying for the ability. It's if I can't change something, I should feel euphoric. Serenity, should be completely at peace. Completely at peace if there's something I cannot change, right? Completely at peace. You should feel literally high off of the knowledge that there's something you cannot change. The second piece is the courage to change the things I can, right? Again, not the ability. You're praying for the courage, because if there's something you can change, it takes a lot of courage to make that change. But most of all, and this is the most brilliant part, the wisdom to know the difference. Because it's the hardest part for people in life is not necessarily to take action, not to take action. The hardest part is knowing what can I control, what can I not control, and therefore, how am I going to move forward? So we pray for the wisdom to know the difference. We pray for the wisdom in our lives to know what can I control, what can I not control, and if I cannot control it, I should feel euphoric. And if I can control it, I want the courage to change it. I want the courage to change the things I can. Now, I bring that up because of this. Imagine I'm sitting in a room with people, and everyone in the room, for the most part, is sitting there, and these people wake up with a desire to put a needle in their veins, okay? Exactly correct. You have to get to that point where you recognize it's beyond my power. It's not in my control. There is an aspect in life where people absolutely need to get to, where they recognize this. And if you don't have that concept, again, this is literally why I go to the meetings, right? If you don't have that concept, it becomes very difficult, very, very difficult to function in the world as a member of a family, circle of friends, or even on a deeper level, society in general, okay? If you're walking around and you think you can control X, Y, and Z, and you cannot control it, you're going to make yourself crazy. You're also going to make everyone else around you crazy, trying to change everyone else around there. Style audit, hardest lesson. Yes, you cannot change others. Very good. Exactly. And by the way, guys, this is so, the word nogea is the Hebrew word, but this is so pertinent to the conversation of Scientology, because it's the reason why William and Wendy and all these people that are out there, and Shannon that used to be out there, Shannon was very strong about this also. I'm not trying, I know I can't change the people inside. Yeah, if my words, if they're already wanting to leave Scientology, maybe my words will help them. That I fully believe. And I do believe that. I believe that giving them, you never know, there might be someone that's on the fence, doesn't know. That gift that you can give them is the knowledge to know, oh wow, there is something out there if I want to change it. But they will not change because of you. You cannot change them. That's just not in your physical capabilities. It's not in your psychological capabilities. You have absolutely zero control. The opposite of Scientology that says you can eventually control, exactly, mess. What's it's such nonsense. I can't even tell you. It's literally against just the most logical knowledge that you can gain throughout life. Every single person in this room has the wisdom to recognize how crazy that stuff is. It's nonsense. To me, it's like, that's one of the things that frustrates me the most. It's just, that's why I always say that same words all the time. Like, they're just weirdos. They are. It's just like, it's fucking weird. It's like, you're not going to be able to control things in that way. You can do it yourself. And you can have a positive effect on the people around you. That I believe. I fully believe that you have the ability to have a positive effect within the context of your relationships in life, right? I actually do believe that. But that doesn't mean you can control people. It doesn't mean you can control yourself. It just means that that ability to be there for others is there. That's all it means. That's all it means. And yes, that's extremely significant. Yes, you can absolutely have an effect on your family and friends that can and will help change them for the better. Absolutely. You have that ability. You do have that ability. But that's not control. There's a tremendous difference. And I say all this because the culmination of a lot of the things that I'm trying to get to for today, at least, and when you guys hear the interview with Wendy, I'll get in more detail about this. But the notion that someone might say about their friend, like, oh, they passed away, and then they'll mention some trauma that the person went through, and they couldn't deal with the trauma, and at the end, they either, let's say a person takes their life, or let's say they get into, liver shuts down because of something, or whatever it is, the end result is they're gone from this world, whether they did it on purpose, whether they did it by mistake. And I was going to use this example before. I'll just use one example of a more famous one of the friends that I've lost. It's not who I'm referring to at this moment, but one of the friends that I lost, we eventually, I say we, but, we couldn't find him, and he had gone through so much in his life, and it was so difficult, and eventually he was found in a hotel room in Vegas. This individual was one of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. It was devastating when we lost him. It was absolutely devastating. But there was 100% an aspect where we all understood how it led to that point. It wasn't some tremendous surprise. Let's see, Rita, you can only influence others by your own, yes, yep. Just do your part, and it's exactly correct. They've got to figure things out for themselves. You just can't. You can't change people. You don't have that ability. And for somebody to, let's say you're explaining, so let's say I say, this friend of mine that we lost, right? Now somebody could easily say, oh, how did it happen? Oh, he overdosed, right? We know that part, right? So you could just say, oh, But that wouldn't be explaining, right, what this specific friend went through. That wouldn't be describing the mental anguish that he had in this world. It wouldn't be expressing the notion that he did what he did because it got to that point where he could not deal with the pain that he was going through in life. It's not the family's fault. It's not his friend's fault. And it's even on so many levels, it's not even his fault. That's the way I feel personally. Okay. People say suicide or taking your life is the most selfish act. Yes, there's a component there where it's like, I have said to people that talk about, so there's a difference between suicidal ideation and intent. So a person that has ideation, they're kind of like fantasizing, right? What would it be like if I actually took my life, right? There's this fantasy, right? It doesn't have to be a positive fantasy, but it's a fantasy. And then there's someone with the intent. They have like a plan, like they're getting to the point where they just can't take it anymore and they're going to do X, Y, and Z. There's two completely separate things. So let's just use someone for a moment as an example that just has the ideation, right? So someone that just has the ideation, for them, they don't have a big master plan of how they're going to take their life. So we try to be the best friends that we could to them, the best family members that we could. We try to do the best that we can. We give them the love that we can. We try to let them know that we're there for them, and whatever kind of assistance they need, we're willing to be there 100% for them, right? But beyond that, we can't even remotely judge what's going through someone else's mind. We can't. It's not only unfair or whatever, it's literally ludicrous to try to say, well, they should have or they shouldn't, whatever it is. But one thing's for sure, if you're thinking within the context of what happened to them, if you're trying to understand their story, if you're trying to understand where they got to this point where they're not in this physical world anymore, it's always more complicated than just saying, well, like my example, I have a friend that passed away. We found him in Vegas. And, it was pretty clear that, we knew how badly he was suffering and he probably couldn't take it anymore. And none of us judged him in any way, shape, or form. Yes, it broke the family's heart, broke all of his friends' heart. But and I don't mean this in fact, I mean this in the most sensitive way possible. It was like, there was a certain component where it's like everybody kind of knew that there was a good chance that was going to happen. And when he passed, it was obviously devastating, but there was a certain amount of peace that we also had because we knew that he was in a better place, in our opinion. I say this as like a religious person. He's in a better place now. He's in a place where he's not feeling that pain and he's at peace. Again, this is by no means me saying that suicide is okay, that suicide is an option. That's not what I'm getting into. Once it's done with, there's always a story behind the entire situation. And if anybody just says, well, my family member, this is what happened to them, right? In the plane crash, there's somebody that took their life. Now, you're absolutely correct in saying, if like someone from the crash knows the whole story, be like, yeah, it's like, the plane crash, that's what it did, that's what it was, right? That is what it was. 100%. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for putting that out there. That's 100% what it was. There's one specific person I'm thinking of, 100%. They committed suicide because they couldn't deal with the trauma from the plane crash. No, like zero judgment from anybody, right? Not only zero judgment from anybody, but that's at least an answer that gives context to why they finally were gone. Now, whether it was an overdose or whether it was something else, it's almost irrelevant if the family member or the friend is just expressing what happened to this person where it led them to the point where they actually took their life. I just heard someone say yesterday that they were like, oh, this person said that that so-and-so passed away because of X, Y, and Z. And that's bullshit. Look at the records. They passed away from a suicide, whatever it was, right? It's insane to me, that type of judgment that would be passed typically, because if someone is expressing to the world after they lose their loved one and they say, like, let's say myself, I created the program because I want people to be able to have the help that they need. That's what I want to do. I want to give people that option of having a good, meaningful life, and something where they can experience this world and not be in such suffering and pain. And of course, we could try to give that to them. But if somebody were to just give an aspect of like what led the person to leaving this world, and you say, you know what, I'm going to do something special now because of that person. Like I was getting into this from the beginning. We light the candle. We talk about it. We talk about the person and all the beautiful things that person did in this world and all the amazing things that the person did while they were here, and how incredible of a friend they were and how incredible of a family member they were. And we talk about it and we cry and we sit together and we mourn that loss. But there's also this celebration of who that person was. And if, let's say, my friend's family, right, who passed away, if they were to say, well, it would be almost like what happened? Oh, well, overdose. No, that's not what happened. It's like that was like the last little thing that occurred because of a bunch of other stuff. What happened to the person was they experienced significant trauma for whatever. So if a family member after that occurs wants to help, right? If they want to assist in this world, they want to do something special. I know a lot of people that give money to my program because they've had family members and they understand the world of pain. They understand that world of unbelievable sadness and whatever else it is. And they want to now do something for that person. So they come out and they say something beautiful and they express my so-and-so, whether it's a friend, let's say me. So my friend passed away, we're going to name a building, we're going to give charity to an unbelievable organization, like the one that I was telling everybody to give to if you wanted to give charity for when I was talking about the plane crash. It's you could do something. So you can create a foundation. You can do something in the name of that person. Right? And what you're doing is you're trying to give that person the legacy that they deserve. Okay? That's something that they deserve. Literally, they deserve it. And you get to that end result, and if a person says about their family member, their loved ones, whatever they say, if they say they passed away because of X, Y, and Z, and they're explaining the bigger picture in the least amount of time that they have, you want to explain something, let's say within a few sentences, you're not going to say, oh, what happened to them? They overdosed, or they, God forbid, took their life in some other way, whatever. That's not what you're going to say. You're going to say, everybody understands that. Everybody understands that the person is gone because of something like that. But what led it to that point? So a family member or a loved one might give an explanation as simple as saying, well, they were in this plane crash and so, and then you're explaining it. That is the most honest thing. That is something that somebody can say. And then for somebody else to come and say, oh, look, what are you talking about? That's a blatant lie. The person died from, drugs or slitting the wrist or, anything that's horrible and horrific that could happen. You're literally taking someone else's family member and you're literally taking their experience and you're saying, you're lying. No, that is actually the honest thing. The person is trying to answer a question. The question is what happened. The idea is that they're trying to help the world now because they lost a loved one to something like this. And they're expressing what led it to that final point. But the major thing I want to say today, because it really bothered me, this is something that really, really bothered me over the past few days. I was thinking about it like a week ago, and I was, I've been putting a lot of time aside to deal with my own trauma recently. And you lost a family member too. There you go, Rita. Yeah. And it's like, it bothered me so much that somebody's trying to call them out and saying, oh, they're lying. That's not what happened. This is what happened. No, the family member's trying to express what led the person down this path where they ended up away from this world. Everyone knows that the end result was not necessarily that. If I tell you this person survived the plane crash, so why are they gone? Well, the person had a lot of trauma and it was eating them up and they couldn't live with themselves anymore, etc., etc., etc. And then boom, this happens, right? It would be the most honest thing you could do if someone asks, oh, what happened, if it's appropriate, or the person is offering to explain or express the story of their loved one, to express the notion that this is what happened to them, that this is what led to this final result that was extremely painful, to this final result that was extremely, it was eating them alive to the point where they couldn't deal with it anymore. That's the most honest thing they could do. And I just want to put it out there. And this is literally a message where you guys know that I'm, and I, like you said about Natalie, you know what, I am going to talk to Natalie about this, because this is a message that I feel is so important, and it's really been bothering me a lot. And I felt like it was significant, but I didn't necessarily want to say anything. And I'm like, you know what, this is so related. I can relate in so many ways within this context in the world of Scientology. You can easily understand how it can lead a person to a point where they literally can't deal with it anymore. And then they start a foundation, or they start this, or they do that. I know we'd actually shared that story with me on a very personal level, and it was so sad. Oh, that story that Rita's talking about, by the way, it's so sad. And the 2 sons, and oh my God. The second son committed suicide, couldn't bear the loss of the older brother. But there you go. Boom. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's that. See, now you're expressing something. So what you just said, Amy, is a better explanation. Like, whatever explanation that we can give for a person passing, the way that you just expressed that is much more of a realistic and honest answer than if somebody were to just say, oh, well, they just took their life. You're missing the whole context. The context was they had a sibling, the guy couldn't deal with it, X, Y, and Z happened, and eventually they left this world. And I think it's so important. It's not even a matter of judgment. It's a matter of literally being called, people are being called, let's say, a liar. Oh, you did it. No, that's not what happened. This is what happened. What? It's like someone is recognizing the true reality and the true experience that someone had as best as they can understand. And they're explaining why it occurred 6 months ago today. See how crazy that is, guys? I was telling you the 9 days. This is always what comes up. And during these days, that's crazy. It's 6 months today. That's crazy, Rita. Wow. Look how powerful that is, guys. I happen to know that story on a very, very significant level. And I'm telling you, by the way, one of the craziest, saddest stories. And it's so crazy that I'm talking about it today. And I promise you that I didn't, I told Rita to come in the chat today, but I never mentioned that I was going to talk about this at all to Rita. And it's so crazy how, look, there you go. It's people say in Judaism, that connection is amazing. But I'm happy that I'm able to say this today, Rita. And so let me say for that mother, let me say this. Anybody that tries to judge, or anybody that tries to look and not listen to what the family members have to say about that mom, such a sad story where no one really saw it coming. Possibly the husband of that person saw it coming or whatever. But I guarantee that if someone asked Rita what happened, okay, if somebody asked Rita what happened, Rita wouldn't just say, oh, well, some drug overdose or something like that, right? No, the answer, you know how significant this is? Me and Rita actually had so many deep conversations trying to understand what happened. That's actually what occurred, for real. For real, me and Rita had so many conversations about trying to understand, there was this, and, they were suffering in silence, and whatever it was, they were trying to understand why the person's not here anymore. It's not like... I can't even tell you, recently I got so frustrated, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. It's so significant. it's first of all, Rita, you're right. We can't judge. Anybody that judges is literally a piece of, that doesn't mean they can't be upset. It doesn't mean the mother can't sit there and scream, why did this happen to my daughter? Or the kids scream, why did this happen to my mom? Why? That doesn't mean that they can't have those questions. But if you have the ability to know anything about them, you're not going to simply say, oh, it wasn't X, Y, it was just, and then you just give some simple answer that's literally just what they finally did or what finally occurred where they passed away. And they left this world because of whatever reason it was, whatever thing. But that's not what anybody, see, I'll tell you how significant this is. Rita, thank you so much for bringing this up. I'll tell you how significant this is to me. In the story that Rita's talking about, there was significant time spent by the family trying to understand what happened. Okay? Now, why would a family try their best to comprehend what occurred? For what? What's the purpose of trying to comprehend? We know the person's gone and this is what they did and that's it. Because the answer is not they're gone because of this. The answer is something else happened in their life and it led to this. And the question becomes, what was that? So you can sit and you can wonder and you can mourn and you can ask and you can think and you can talk about it. And if you were close to that person or a family member of that person, you have an understanding of what they went through and what's going on. And people who judge or sit there and question what a family member or a friend might say about someone that they lost, it's disgusting to me. It's absolutely disgusting. And it happened a couple times over the past, literally during the 3 weeks. I was telling you guys that this literally is a conversation I never planned on going live about. I wasn't going to you guys know that I'm not as a Jew, we don't believe that we have some ticket to heaven and everyone else. We believe everyone can go. That's why there's no real missionaries in Judaism, because it's like you don't have to be Jewish to go to heaven. It's like, it's complicated. But my point is, I'm always concerned that I don't want my lives to become some religious, the lessons to be religious. I'm not even getting into that component. There is that component, but I'm not even getting into that. What I'm saying is, like Rita's talking about, exactly, it's such a good point, where I'm thinking so clearly about the story. And there you go, it's always meant to be. Things are really meant to be, as we say in the culture, because it's literally 6 months today. Wow. And the fact that I decided today to talk about it, that's crazy. That is so crazy, because I know that story, the story that Rita's referring to, I know that story so well. And that's crazy that the day I decided to open up my mouth about this live is literally 6 months, which is a significant date after someone passes away. There's the first 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 11 months, and then a year. But 11 months is when people say that special prayer and all the different things that we do in the culture after someone passes away. And I just felt like during these 3 weeks, and especially right now during these 9 days, there's a lot of things that occur, but it's very realistic for a family member or a friend to be able to stop and say, this is what occurred, and to express whatever that is, and to call that person out or judge them for explaining is just beyond disgusting. Beyond disgusting. It's like, it's literally filthy. Like, I heard on more than one occasion, and then just the other day I heard someone say something again, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna go live on Friday, and I'm just gonna talk about it, and that's it. And I just feel it's important. And I know that in the world of Scientology, it's been talked about on numerous occasions. Everybody wonders, I think, about them. I don't even want to talk about these other people because I'm not there to judge, but the Lisa McPherson or whoever, any of the people that were lost because of Scientology. So what are you just going to say? Oh, well, the autopsy results show that they passed away from X, Y, and Z. But that's not the full story. It's much more of a realistic answer to talk about suffering that they might have experienced in life, or something that was, she was pure perfection, a true angel. Yeah, that's what Rita. I never met, by the way, the story that Rita shared with me when it happened. Wow, Rita, that's crazy. It's been 6 months. It feels like yesterday when we talked about that. Yeah, literally feels like yesterday. I'm thinking about that now. Rita, it's crazy. And it's so meant to be, obviously, for me to open up my big mouth. But I just felt like it's important, and I literally felt it was so important that I want this video to be out there for anybody that might gain from this. I needed to express this the best that I could. And I'm going to continue to express it in the interviews that I do with Wendy, but I felt the utter necessity to put this out there. It's going to be a public, this is it. It's live. I'm making it live, and I'm making my strong stance and my statement, and I feel very strongly about this. And when we think of Scientology, when we think of cults, when we think of abuse, when we think of domestic abuse, when we think of any type of traumatic experience that they experience, and then eventually it ends up leading to their life, it's just like, it's an opportunity for us to stop and talk about it, and to express it, and to just try to come to grips with whatever that was. And I swear, guys, it's so crazy, because I was talking to Rita, like, on the phone earlier today, and we were talking about something completely different. And it's so crazy that I opened up my mouth today. It's been 6 months, Rita. It's really on my mind now. That's crazy. It's been 6 months. Wow. I hope the family's doing good, Rita. I know you'll tell me when we speak, but if you can let me know how the kids are doing. I'm really curious. You're more than welcome to share with the chat. But that's it. Yeah, Rita had a tremendous loss in her family, and it was, from their perspective, they actually did not see it coming. But now when they look back, they know certain aspects, and they're capable of recognizing certain things. So I also want to tell you guys, in a moment or two, my brother's probably going to call. But don't leave the chat. I'm able to answer the phone and then come back. I just want to let you guys know I'm not going to end it. I'm going to end the chat once my brother gets here, because I just want you guys to meet him. He's super dope. And then I'm going to be spending some time with him. But maybe I'll even leave it live and us just sitting together. He's such an amazing human being, my brother. But I just felt it utterly necessary to open up my big mouth about all this, because I was furious the other day with one specific instance. Yeah, you still don't know. I'm so sorry, Rita. I'm so sorry. I have thought about her on so many different occasions over the past 6 months, Rita. You have no idea. You have no idea. I've thought about her on so many different occasions. Are they, in the Sephardic community, do they put the stone at 6 months? Because I know that some sects of Judaism, at 6 months is when they put up a headstone. Some people wait until the 11-month period, but that's the longest they wait. Some people wait 6, some people wait 9, and some people wait 11. But it's very sad that, and in that case, that's one of the things also that I love that Rita's saying is, so we know that this Rita's family member is gone. We know that, right? But if Rita doesn't have the answers as to exactly what occurred, Rita's not going to sit here and say, oh, it was this, when that's not the answer. It's not what happened. What happened was they went through a certain experience in life, and it got to the point where ... And you can easily look at it that way. You waited a full year for your grandfather's unveiling. Okay, there you go. There you go. Some people do, I guess, wait 12 months. I thought that 11 months was the longest, but no, you're right. 11 months we stopped saying Kaddish, 12 months we put up the stone. My bad. See, this is what I needed. If Amy wasn't here, if Rita wasn't here, I wouldn't even be able to do justice with explaining my culture, because I 100% correct. I just realized, guys, thank you. Thank you for correcting me, Amy. I don't know why I was thinking it's the same time. At 11 months, we stopped saying the Kaddish, the prayer that we say for a people that are mourning. And at 12 months, they put up the headstone by the grave. totally missed that. You're 100%. I don't know why in my brain it was, 11 months they do both. It's not true. They stopped saying the prayer at 11 months, and that has to do with the fact that after 11 months we believe that their soul is at rest or whatever it is. And then, but 12 months is what we wait to for what we call the unveiling of the stone, where we put up a stone by the gravesite for almost the full. For a year, we put up no stone. It's just, and in Judaism, one of the beautiful things that I love, one of the things I really love about our culture when it comes to people that pass on, there's no fancy everybody gets buried the exact same way, and there's absolutely zero even metal involved. You can't even use metal nails. We literally just use a wooden box, and the nails, the pegs that keep the wooden box together, it's all wood. And the person is not dressed up at all, which I'm not saying anything against any other culture that has different, their own way of doing things. That's totally fine. I'm just expressing that, yeah, I'm just expressing that I think it's beautiful that we don't get buried with our money, with our suits and ties and golden chains, and nothing wrong with it if that's what your specific culture does. But I personally love it because it reminds us all that we're all like, it's not like, if you're wealthy in life, that made you more successful, you get to have this big beautiful casket, and it's not the way it works. And in Israel, in fact, there's a lot of people stopped even using the wooden caskets. They're wrapped in the same shawl, which I should say in the wooden casket, they're not naked. They are naked, wrapped in a shawl and in the wooden box. No clothing, nothing else. So yes, it would be the same exact as being in the wooden box. You don't need the wooden box. In Israel, I've seen on multiple occasions. The rabbi was referring to, Dr. Abraham J. Twersky, when they walked down these streets and everybody walked the body down these streets, they literally did not have him in a box. They just had him wrapped up, and they buried him. Some people believe it's more spiritual to be buried that way. But the point is that we're all the same. It's not like at the end, whatever you had in life is going to have some extra significance. No, it has to do with whether or not you were good to your fellow man. How did you treat each other? How did you treat mankind? That's really what it's all about. It's really what it's all about. It's really what it's all. And again, that's why in Judaism, and I just like for people to know this, to correct people, you can't say someone who's a Catholic, who's a Christian, they would all say you can't be an atheist and a devout Muslim or a devout Christian at the same time. You can't. You can't say I don't believe in God. Oh yeah, but to believe that you are a Christian or Catholic, you have to believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, and that he was, the Immaculate Conception, and all these different things, which 100%, that's beautiful. That's that religion. That is beautiful to me, and I'm so happy that people have their ways of viewing things. I'm just simply expressing that in Judaism, it's just not seen that way. It's just like, you don't lose your Jewish card just because you don't believe in God, In Judaism, you can be an atheist, and yes, you're still Jewish. My brother's hanging out with my dad, who's a rabbi, and my other siblings, he's hanging out further north in Chicago right now. And it's not like a private piece of information that he doesn't believe in God. Thank you, Rita. I'm going to. I can't wait to see him. You guys will see me go crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I want your guys' thought on this type of stuff as well. But the notion that we just have to be kind to each other. It's really getting to the point where it's like, even during this ridiculous on cremation. Listen, I would say first of all, hello to you, Patsy. My thought. I have friends. Anybody that's watched my lives where I take you guys to that beach where they have like a stone and a tree that we planted. So obviously that individual, even though comes from the Jewish culture, that person, his wishes were for it to be part of the lake. That was his big thing. So that's what they did. I have no judgment I have zero judgment. I think this might be the first time I've ever seen you, so let me give a wave to Patsy. No, I can't see. Trying to take it off me. There you go. Yes, exactly. Twila, it's exactly what we've been talking about. That's what we've been talking about right now. That's what we've been talking about. And we've been talking about the notion that if it's your family member or it's your loved one or if it's your friend, you might have an answer on some level. And then someone can't call you out and say, that's not what happened, right? Because like my loved one that was in the plane crash that eventually couldn't take it anymore, right? Couldn't deal with the trauma, right? So people in that family talk about the fact that the plane crash absolutely destroyed this person to the point where they couldn't live with their injuries and et cetera, et cetera. And that's okay for them to express that that's kind of what happened. Someone can't say to them, that's not what happened. What happened was the person unalived themselves. Yeah, that's like the obvious part. It's almost like that's the obvious part. If you lose a loved one, you can still express it, and it's exactly correct. You do have to be careful. You do have to be careful. You do have to be very careful when you give, like you said, simple answers to complicated things. And you are correct. The whole point is that it's so much more complicated than that. That is the point. I completely agree with you. You have to be so careful. So careful. So careful. And yes, you have to choose kindness. That is true. Thank you, Amy, for welcoming. Yeah, Patsy, tell me if is this your first time in my chat? If it is, you're more than welcome. Happy to see you. Yeah. So I want to know what are your thoughts on all of this, especially even within the context of how it relates to people falling into Scientology? Like, how does that happen? How do people get into it? Oh, okay, cool. I'm happy that you were here before. I'm sorry, I don't always remember everybody, but I love that you're here now. So, but for me, I just, over the past few days, it's a time in our culture of like thinking things through and thinking about your own actions and thinking about, your life, and things are just not as simple as people might make it seem to be. I know I was a little bit passionate today talking about this, and you guys are lucky that I held myself back from like breaking down, because I just want to cry with regards to some of what I discussed today. But thank God I've worked on some of my own personal traumatic experiences so that I can talk without becoming just a disaster. Literally just a few years ago, I would just be crying right now to you guys. And it's not funny. I'm like chuckling out of like that, It's the opposite of Scientology. Yeah, it is. That's correct. It is the opposite of Scientology. It is. We in this chat, we talk all the time about people having an identity. And once you steal someone's identity, once you rip them from their identity, it becomes so easy for them to get lost. That could be lost from this world. That could be lost in this world. But once they lose their identity, there are no more questions about anything until they gain that back. Hi, YG. You're definitely going to have to go back and listen to today's lives. Just talking about the 3 weeks and the 9 days. And YG, hopefully Rita's still here. You could say hi to Rita. Rita's from one of the 12 tribes. But, I just think it's so significant. And I was so upset. Actually, YG messaged me that I haven't done a live. And it's true, but I planned on doing it today. And that's what I did for the past, almost 2 hours. I rambled, but I hope that it was coherent. And I hope I made my point strong. I know there are a lot of components to it, but that's the idea. The idea is that this is complicated. It's not a simple answer. There are zero simple answers when it comes to this stuff. Zero simple answers. So I'll tell you that I fully believe within that context of what you're saying. There are zero simple answers, zero. Everything is complicated. But a family member or loved one has the right to express what led the person to that, to that point where they could not live anymore with that trauma or that, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. It could be any number of different things, It really could. And, I feel like it's important. And finally today I'm actually happy I got to go to the park. It would have been way too noisy by the beach. The planes. At the park, they're flying over just so that they could fly back to the beach. YG, they're having an air show. I was explaining. Yes, Rita, kindness is everything. That's what the famous rabbi, one of the most famous stories in the Jewish culture is. It was during literally during the time that Jesus was alive, and so the students went to Jesus' rabbi, so followers of Jesus. So they went to his rabbi, and they said to his rabbi, "Oh, well, you know so much. Well, tell us the whole Torah. The 5 books of Moses. Tell it to us. Come on, tell it. You should be able to explain it in 2 seconds." By the way, exactly against everything Scientology, where they have no explanation of anything. And the rabbi said, "I could do it, and I'll do it on 1 foot." And he stood on 1 foot, and he said, treat your neighbor like, the famous thing. It's a very famous thing. And that's really what it's about, man. I mean, the rest of it is all like, it's the spices that you put on top of your life. It's the toppings that you might use in your life that could be very important. And religion can be important to you. And culture can be important to you. And these things can be significant. YG lives in a city where literally the entire city is like ultra-Orthodox Jews. Literally. It's actually the most per capita. There are more ultra-Orthodox Jews per capita in the city that YG lives in than anywhere else in the world. Literally in the world. That entire city is very famously, and it's important to them. That's a great example also, because that city, they don't have, let's say like that city was near Chicago, probably wouldn't be, but like, people dress a certain way, and there's a certain expectation if you're living there to respect, the people that are there. But ultimately, no one in that community disagreed with the notion that yeah, YG and Rita, you guys, everybody, I love when you guys connect, but specifically YG, you guys are probably about an hour and a half away from each other or less. Rita's actually close by. But I just find it fascinating that people can still sit around and would do one of 2 things: either try to control and destroy someone's life, like Scientology, or judge, which just happens in general. And you guys know I don't want to talk about politics ever on my channel with regards to like like American politics or whatever. But I will say this: one of the things that really bothers me is I've heard people sit like they find out that their friend is going to vote this way or the other way, right? It goes both ways. And it's like, well, I can't be friends with you. If you're voting for that person, it boggles my mind. What are you talking about? Like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like what are you going on about? Like, what? It makes 0 sense to me. It's like, you're not going to be friends. I cannot come to an understanding of that. It's just not something that I can fully grasp. I just can't. It's just not something that I can comprehend. For me personally, it's very difficult for me to comprehend that notion. Like, with all due respect, just extremely difficult for me to comprehend that notion. It just is. It's the bottom line. You've got to be kind to each other. You got to care. Always be kind. Always be kind. Never judge. You don't know what a person's been through. You don't know what a person's experiences have been. You don't know anything. And you pass judgment. And that is literally the one thing that I would say is a universal, let's use the word sin. Let's just use it. the universal sin, I would say the one thing is just be kind to each other. It's like just because they're, Rachel wanted to say hi to you, so I ran. She showed you your blanket and bottle. Okay, well, that's awesome. Or follow to things I didn't like or agree, especially channels or creators who are anti-Israel. There you go. Amy's saying it like it is. And it's just, it boggles my mind that people just, they think that they understand the whole picture. They understand it. Half of these people have never even been outside of this country, even within the Western world, let alone in the Middle East, where you can't even understand any of that geopolitical stuff unless you've been out there and you've lived out there. I have deep conversations with my friend Muhammad, who has a condo in the same building that he's a neighbor. And we have very deep conversations without getting angry at each other or anything. And he's not anti this, I'm not anti that. It's just, we have conversations, we're friends, and we both agree. Even, what's so crazy? Even Andrew Tate, who's like a really, I guess, polarizing, and he's hated by a lot of people, he's loved by a lot, whatever it is. But he did say something the other day that I thought was powerful. He had put out a thing about how, we live in a world right now where nobody's willing to have a conversation anymore. Instead, it's just all the way straight up, dot, dot, dot. It's like, we have to be able to talk to each other. We have to be able to be kind to each other. I thought it was awesome that he was at least putting out that message. She thought she saw it right. You kept the conversation going with you. That's awesome. Good. I'm happy you guys are standing strong. I mean, the bottom line is that, I have nothing evil to say about any group or any religion or culture or anything. Yes, there are evil people in the world. That anybody can sit there and say that, but to judge an entire culture or to try to understand the geopolitical events that are occurring, it's just like you can have your opinion, but make sure that you're being clear. Otherwise, you are all the way on the other side of love, all the way, and everybody claims that their religion is about love. So then, practice it. Practice that aspect of your world. Just love. Have conversations, but still love. We got to get rid of this hate in the world right now. It's just a bad place to be. I'll say hi in a second. I'll definitely say hi. YG, literally in 2 weeks from today, I'll literally be a few blocks away from you. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you, Amy, too. Hopefully we can, all the people that are in that area. I'm going to hopefully go see Rita as well. That's part of my plans. I'm really happy Rita came in today. Even if she's not here right now, I'll just say about her, I'm really happy she came in. Hopefully she'll come in more often. You guys will love her. She's amazing. One of the sweetest people I know. She's such a sweetheart. Such an amazing mom. Such an amazing friend. She's like one of those people where it's like awesome that I actually got to meet her. She really is an incredible human being. But it's like we're saying she's an incredible human being because for her it's like just all about like just like do the best you can in this world and don't judge and love and understanding and tolerance and right, and tolerant. There you go, Amy. Exactly. I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying. That's the part. That's like, that's my whole thing is that like, if you're involved in that, so like, just without getting too deep into this, right? So if my friend Ishmael wants to have a conversation with me and he feels a certain way about certain things that are going on in the Middle East, my ears are open to him. I'm willing to have the conversation with him, but he would never, ever say things that I'm not even going to say out loud that would sound like like believing in genocide or whatever. And again, I don't know, people will say Israel's genocide. It's just no more. It's like Amy and I actually connected. One of the first times we connected was when somebody made a comment about Judaism within the context and literally compared a sect of Judaism to Scientology, which is ludicrous. There's absolutely, you could say whatever you want about that community. I'm not saying there isn't what to discuss. That's not what I'm saying. But it is absolutely ludicrous to try to make that connection. It's ludicrous. And they were very unapologetic about it. Very unapologetic. They didn't care. It was such significant judgment. And I was more than just insulted. I actually was the only person that commented on that video, and I openly commented. And I kind of just brought down the receipts too. I literally threw receipts out there to make it sound like I'm not just saying a certain point. I just threw out the receipts, the difference between that sect of, and again, I'm not getting into whether or not there aren't issues there, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Scientology, that's what they called it, I know. I couldn't believe that they said that. It was literally, it bothered me tremendously. I mean, it really did. And you guys all know that I'm not sitting here judging one or the other. You know that I stay away from talking about it because, again, like we were talking about in this conversation, things are just always so much more complicated than just one little simple answer. It's complicated. So if you don't want to have the, if I'm not going to be able to express the whole thing, I'm not going to start making statements. I'm not going to say something like Scientology. I would never say that within the context of, let's say, one of the any of, let's say, the Judeo-Christian or the Abrahamic religions. Let's just say it like that. They refer to it as Abrahamic religions. I would never say any of them ontology. Like, I would never say Scientology. I would never say that about any other religion or sect or group. I just would never. It's sad that people are out there just, But listen, that's everybody's business. My main thing is you have to be kind to each other. My spot in Israel, where I was living right before I came back to America in 2022, I lived in a city where I was one of the only two Jewish people in that city. It was a Palestinian neighborhood in Jerusalem. And I was good friends with everybody. That's a whole nother thing though, because they're not the same governed, whatever. It's a whole nother topic that people don't even understand. But I lived in a city, I don't mind saying it all. It's called Beit Safafa, which is very much a Palestinian city, or let's call it a suburb, but it's in Jerusalem. And we were all cool with each other, totally cool. Can you ask Brahla if she's Okay, hold on. Hi, Brachela. I hope to meet you next 2 weeks. I hope to meet you, Brachela. Such a cool age that Brachela is at. She's feeding her mommy snacks. That's good. But yeah, that's my main thing. My main message is, no judgment and love. And I really was like horrified. There were 2 separate incidents that happened recently, and I was really horrified by it. It really bothered me tremendously that somebody could almost like nullify the experience that they had of their loved one. It's like you're just going to nullify. No, it's a lie. This is what happened. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Planes and trains, that is exactly what's going on. She told you snack. But you're right today, Amy, planes and trains, right? Everybody jokes around about me traveling because of all the... I actually was in a very small... This is crazy, guys. So there's the plane crash, the bus, and then there was one horrific car accident that I was in. Thank God everybody was okay in the end. But there was also a train that derailed. I was on it. I felt like, oh God, I did this to all these people. That's what I felt like. But thank God nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt. Amy, one of the coolest things is when I travel, I'm not scared to fly. But I actually, if I have the time, I love taking the train. I love taking the train from the East Coast, whether I start off in one of 3 places, and then literally it goes through about 15 states. So if you start off in Pennsylvania, you have Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, obviously Illinois, Michigan. There's more. I can't think of all of them, but there's close to 15 states that you go through. If you take a train to Chicago from, let's say, Penn Station, it's about 15 states. I know like 10 of them in my mind, but I can't think of it. Oh, it goes through New England, so it goes through Connecticut, Massachusetts, and trying to think. Let's actually think for a second. So we got Pennsylvania, New York, that's 2, New Jersey, that's 3, and then let's think of New England, so that's 3, so that's 6, and then we've got it goes through Washington D.C. is not a state, but it does go through Washington as well. Obviously, that's all part of the same state as the others, but then there's Virginia, West Virginia. So now we're at 10. No, so now we're at 8. And then Ohio and Michigan, now we're at 10. Illinois, that's 11. Indiana's 12. There's 3 more. YG, I just saw that you sent me something. I'll check it out. You were at an amusement park? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, what happened? Oh my gosh. That's why I don't go on roller coasters. Everybody thinks it's because I'm scared of I'm not scared of the roller coaster. It's not what I fear. I fear, it just brings back flashbacks of people getting hurt and, the speed and the whatever. So many different components that are there that affect me. But yeah, so hard to explain. Good. See, there you go. So hard to explain. There's just there's a beautiful plane just nicely flying. There you go, right off the bat. Hard to explain. Perfect. What a perfect answer. To me, that answer is perfection. Buccaneer ride? Wow. Okay. I'll check out the pictures, YG. But for real, YG, I'm literally going to be staying for around that area for at least 4 or 5 days. In your city. And then I'll hopefully be going around to other parts of New Jersey and New York as well. But definitely going to be in your city. That's for sure. So, and YG, you have to remind me, but you said that there was somebody you mentioned during my speech. You had mentioned that there was somebody that you wanted me to just walk into a storefront and say hello to. You said that there was an individual that could benefit. Don't forget to remind me where I need to go. When I'm there, you'll tell me, and I'll go at the right time, and you could decide whether or not you let the person know that I'm coming by to say hello. But like we talked about in that speech, catching it before is the best way to do it, man. If you can get on top of whatever you're experiencing, you're one step ahead of falling apart and everything just turning to disaster. You got to try to be just one step ahead, always one step ahead. You just got to be one step ahead. I completely agree. So yes, if there's an individual that I can say hello to, like you mentioned in the speech, don't think I forgot. See, that's something that I will for sure remember. Something I will for sure remember. But yeah, so I know I babbled a lot today, but I feel like it's an important topic, and it was bothering me specifically recently. So okay, let's see what you got here. The guy was needing to get stuff. Someone was throwing. Oh man. Oh, your boat hit him. The next thing I see. Oh my god. Oh my god. So did he make it? I'm assuming that means he made it. Hopefully he made it. Oh. Those boat rides actually, ironically, I go on those, even the ones that drop really, because it's a quick ride. I can't sit on a roller coaster that's like 5 minutes or even 3 minutes. I can go on a ride that's just like quick, but otherwise it's just straight up trauma for me. I can't. It's just too much trauma. Just totally can't. But, it is what it is. Hopefully that person made it. Oh my God, he was paralyzed. That's so horrific. Oh, when you hear these stories. I do know someone that got stuck on a roller coaster while it was upside down. and one person did fall out, but they were able to get everybody else out safely besides one. So one person did. People don't realize that, yes, typically, they're safe or whatever, but these things happen. In Chicago, ironically, as you're watching this train right here, if you raised in a bar, they're having advertised right now because it's I have the Democratic. Oh, wait till you guys get to see my lives. All those people. Park closed and everyone's going. That is crazy. This train right here that you guys are watching in 2000, I want to say 2006. No. I think it was probably closer to 2008. One of them completely fell off the rail and flipped upside down, and people were tremendously hurt. Thank God no one passed away, but I actually was. It's crazy. I was supposed to be on that train. I literally missed that train coming home from graduate school. I used to go to graduate school, and I missed that train ride. And yeah, so thank God, I guess, right? But it was horrible that happened to those people. Okay, guys, now it's time for everybody to tell me. And Rita, if you're still here, you'll get to enjoy this. We do love to schmooze about the Scientology world a little bit. Has there been anything crazy? I haven't really seen much going on. Has there anything significant that I should know about, Natalie's channel or anybody else's channel? Is there anything? Let me know. If there's something I should know, let me know. I don't know what's going on in that world. I don't know. I do not know. I'm going to set this up because you guys are going to love my brother. Hopefully he'll be willing to, he's not shy, but he's a pretty private person, but hopefully he's still going to, hold on, I'm just getting out my full, let's see if we can keep it so you guys can watch the trains. Hopefully Brachala can see the trains, YG. Trying to set it up there. Really? What's going on? What's the drama? If it's something you don't want to say, then don't say it, but otherwise I want to know. I heard about some drama with regards to some stuff, but I didn't hear so much about like Scientology itself. I mean, I learned a lot from Mindy when Mindy was here. Too much? That's not good. I learned a lot from Mindy when Mindy was here. Mindy was able to explain certain aspects of what goes on out there that's really pure insanity, and it's so sad that people are going through that out there. I do not know even what to say about that. It's so sad to me. It really is. Breaks my heart. Too much, huh? That's not good. So you guys are here, I need to grab something. But that's not good at all. That's not good at all. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that good things are happening. We need love. We need peace. We need serenity. We got to get rid of... Why are you not standing up? No, my tripod is not. I don't know why they call them tripods if it's not even a tri. But you got to be a tri to be a tripod. Mine has more legs than that. Ooh. Oh, big bugs all over my stuff. But Amy, is it too much to talk about, or is it too much really, really bad? Hopefully it's not too bad. I did hear that DOA won his case. That I'm very happy about. Listen, we can all agree or disagree on some of that stuff with DOA, but I am super happy that he won his case. I have nothing against him personally. I'm just making that clear. I have no clue as to anything else. I would never judge. If other people do, I completely understand that they have their own experiences. But you guys know that my channel has very little. I want it to always be love. I'm going to keep it that way. The only frustration I'll ever have is, like we talked about today, when people are being judged. There's supposedly a person who was trying to arrange a protest against Lara. Oh, so I did hear about that, actually. Interesting. How did that occur or not occur? Because I know that good. Thank you for reminding me. I have to check that out. I also want to check it out for her sake. I like to, just like to go along for the ride. I don't know what you would call it exactly, but that is significant to me. That's a very significant story to me, and I'm happy that she's out there and that she's enjoying life. She deserves it. It sucks when people experience so much pain and they were, abused in such a significant way through that cult, through that disgusting, despicable cult. It makes me happy that she's out there and she's living life, because that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm literally just getting some water. I've been talking and foaming. I'm some angry dog. I'm foaming at the mouth. Oh my God. By the way, the chick that's in the picture, like right in front of us, I know that chick, so she knows that I'm live. I'm very careful, even though this is 100% public. You don't have all the information. No problem, RG. What are you talking about? What? Really? I thought he won. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's not good. You didn't hear either style of it, huh? That's not good. We need to support, in my opinion, personal and IMO. I think we need to support. That's the way I feel. I feel like support for Laura is significant. Again, my opinion. My opinion. No one has to agree with me. Just my opinion. I want Laura to have good, happy experiences. That's so weird, though. For some reason, I had heard that DOA had won the case, but I guess, sorry guys for all the movement now, I'm trying to keep it clear. I thought the DOA had won the case. That's interesting that you have that info. I'm happy you're letting me know that, because I'm going to look into it. I wanted to know. Amy, what are you eating tonight for Shabbat dinner? For me, I really do try not to eat meat during the 9 days, because for me, I'm able to go. That's something I'm able to do. Like my face with the scars, I have to shave, but I just shave on Friday, so there's a little bit of a dispensation because it's Shabbat. The rest of the days I don't shave. Maybe unconsciously, that's also why I don't come on. Because when I'm not shaven, I used to not mind, like when I was younger, having like stubble or a little beard. But I feel like now I just look so different with you. You guys would be like, whoa, I look so different with a beard. It's crazy. Salmon, steak, sounds good. There's a new pizza shop in Chicago, and it's awesome. And I know that my mom is sending some of that pizza with my brother to come to me, so I can't wait for that. Ironically, right? I should save that for after Shabbat. I should be eating meat tonight. Ooh, steamed bok choy. That's amazing. Potato kugel. YG. Every Shabbos I used to do Thursday night slow cook challenge, slow cook potato, And then I don't know if any of you have ever had tabit. It's so good. Oh my God. I have to lose weight. That's awesome. Yeah, potato kugel is out there. That's cholent you can make very healthy. Potato kugel usually is well, it's all natural oils, but still it's potatoes. Potatoes are never, Ooh, potato kugel so good. You guys are making me hungry now. Yeah, potato kugel is good, right, guys? Anybody in the chat hasn't had potato kugel, we're gonna send it out. We're gonna send it out, right? YG, we're gonna we're going to send everybody style audit, and all you people, you'll have to come by one Shabbat and eat with me. Every Friday night, by the way, guys, I'm in a part of the city where there's not a lot of other Orthodox Jews. So you don't know how to make cholent, Amy, I'm going to have to teach you. So I make, and every Friday night I sit with a lot of people from all different cultures, and they eat with me every Friday night. We have a really good time. Unless I'm like with my kids, obviously, then that's different. But if I'm by myself, then yes, Amy, you should go over. You don't have the patience. It's really easy, Amy. I'll send you, Amy, for real legit. I'm going to email you like the simple recipe to get started, and then after that you can make your own little brisket. There ain't nothing. Cholent's probably the only more. Kugel and cholent are probably the number 2 famous Jewish foods. Good style audit. You'll come by one Friday night. Oh, style audit. Did you go? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot to check it out. Style audit, please share with us. By the way, guys, style audit can finally go live. Style audit, did you go live? Amy, by the way, I could tell genuine people, YG, you should take YG up on that. You should go there for Shabbat with your daughter. I think you guys would have a good time. But style audit, you absolutely are in. Style audit, one of these days, we'll work out a day where I can come out with you. Yes, congrats to style audit, absolutely. Style audit, one of these days I'm going to go out with you, and then after we're going to come back on Friday, and then we'll eat Shabbat dinner. I've wanted to do that with Mindy and Shannon for a long time, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. And we should probably do it sooner than later, because during the winter, Shabbat starts really early. You know what? That's such a good idea, style audit. We should get together. We should keep reminding me, style audit. We need to find, within the next 2 months or so, we need to find a good Friday night. Everybody to come over. We'll have a good time. It's too late now. Yeah, no, I just mean in general. You should go over there. You got to go there for Shabbat one time, Amy. I'm sure you would love it. You guys would have a good time. That's what's awesome. That's the only thing about, I could say, like, social media that's awesome is this type of social media where people connect. Because for me, my whole problem with social media is the lack of human interaction. But when it creates human interaction, that's awesome. Big Flunk fuzzed around and couldn't figure it out. We got in some small footage. Okay, good. It might be way to get to leave the car. Taste the cholent. Oh my God. We'll put some, I don't know what should we put in there? What can we put in the cholent to make it extra? I don't know. That's hilarious. Banana cake. You like the banana cake? Yeah, I know the bakery. It's either Tel Aviv or there's 2 bakeries that make it. Yeah. God willing, I'll really remember. Banana cake, you got it. You got it. The person that makes the banana cake, actually, my mom, is the one that helps run. That's one of her jobs. She helps run this huge restaurant that they make the banana cake. I will definitely bring the banana cake that definitely got it. I will. I'll bring it for your father. By the way, guys, during the interview, I realized how well I do know YG's family. I even popped out some pictures of me and YG's grandfather, through marriage, grandfather. Not a cook. Don't worry about it. You don't need to bring anything. I'll do the cooking. Yes, find out which bakery made the best. I love banana cake too, guys. Now I'm getting really hungry in a good way. Banana cake is so good. Banana cake is one of those things that's so good. I don't remember the reason why, YG, but every Rosh Hashanah in Tells, your grandfather and grandma Betty, she used to send. First of all, oh my God, I know for sure which bakery because it's the same. It's what I'm talking about. I for sure know the bakery at Tel Aviv because that's the bakery that the school I went to, guys, the yeshiva that I went to is connected to YG's family, like tremendously connected. And in fact, YG's grandfather is one of the favorite people that I've ever met in my entire life. One of the only people that I continued to study with, even after I rebelled and like left religion, I would still go to her grandfather's house actually. But I know which bakery. You don't even need to ask. I for sure know because that's what we did. Your maternal grandmother was the best baker. That's awesome. Yes, baking is. If you know how to, it's just like it's. That is one good part about Judaism, I guess, is the good food. There's a lot of good food. Yes, you have to come empty-handed style on it. That's the way we do it. You got to come. You just come. I do the cooking. I just got actually something new. I invested in an air fryer. I don't know if you've ever. So, by the way, YG, there's a way with the air fryer where it's like 2 hours, but it literally makes the potato kugel taste like an overnight potato kugel. It's not the same. I will not even remotely claim that it's exactly the same, but it's the closest to that I've ever tasted, and it just takes a couple hours. Every time here's something coming from Chicago, yes, I know exactly which cake for a fact. I'd push all my chips on black or red, as they say. I know exactly which bakery because it's the same one I love. When I was in, and in fact, your grandfather and your grandmother, your father-in-law's, his parents, they brought the cake actually from the bakery. And Betty, Rebbitzin Betty, used to bake cookies that I love too. She made some of the best cookies. Ask your father-in-law about that chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, anybody that went to the school I went to goes crazy. That's a famous kind of like Chicago kosher food. Well, that school, I would say specifically that the school that I went to, we used to that, and I'll tell you what we had every Rosh Hashanah. We had that and honey cake and banana cake. It's not a Betty Crocker. It's this. I'm sure you know what an air fryer is. It's a little bit different. I don't know how to explain it. I never really got into air fryers until recently. I only recently got into it. I recently started the air fryer. I started teaching myself how to do cool things with the air fryer. Air fryer's good. Really good. Really good. But yes, I will remember the cake. They make some of the best cake. Absolutely. That bakery doesn't fully exist anymore, but it all exists within this one. Babka is the best. Every Shabbat I have babka. Sorry guys. I don't know, I disappeared for a second. The gooey chocolate is the best. Ooh, babka is the best. You should look into it, YG. I consider like stuff like that, like the air fryer. I consider it like an investment if you want the type of foods today as you have an air fryer. How awesome are they? They're so cool. It's so cool. There's certain foods like pizza and stuff that it makes, fried air. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, by the way. The air fryer is unbelievable. You can literally have some of what's considered the most unhealthy foods, and they all end up being extremely healthy with the air fryer. It's an interesting phenomenon. Very interesting phenomenon. I can't quite put my finger on it, but yes, chicken nuggets, exactly. It tastes like, literally with the chicken nuggets, it tastes like they've been cooking slowly for hours, even though it's really quick. I agree. Complicated recipes with brachla. Air fryers are healthy. That's why I got into it. I decided to. Another one of my siblings also recently started getting healthy again, and my brother recently healthy, because everyone's slowly getting healthier. like, you know what, I'm gonna get an air fryer, and I did. My mom knows a lot about that type of stuff because she works in like a bakery, which is also, they make the best babka, bakery slash bagel shop. It's called Emma's. That's the main place she works at, and and she's like, yeah, air fryer's the way to go. So no, you can't leave it on for Shabbat. No, you don't need to stir it at all. So the coolest thing about the air fryers, so I like the front open. There are different ways. Like, I don't like the top opens. I like what's called front. I forgot what they're called, but the front doors. It's, you don't have to do anything. You literally put it in there, and that's what's amazing. It cooks it from all sides, and it does it in this. Yeah, it wouldn't work for Shabbat. No, for Shabbos it can't work because your food will be just burnt to a crisp if you just leave it in there for too long. It'll literally be burnt to a crisp. It's not made, the whole point of the air fryer is that it makes food as if it's a slow cook, but it actually does it really fast. My mom is, yes, Amy, my mom still works. My dad retired 4 weeks ago. My dad just retired, and he didn't even fully retire. He's still working for them, but he basically retired, but my mom does. Yes, you could put it in and check it out 2 hours later. Yes, you can. Yes, and it has amazing. There are, one of the coolest thing about the new air fryers is on my air fryer there's like 20 something settings. 20 something settings. I forgot how many, but like literally, like if you hit for pizza, it does exactly what pizza needs. If you do for kugel, it's called souffle, but it's referring to kugels too. It does kugel. It does brisket. Pretty much any food you could think of, and it has the, you just click on that one thing, put it in, and it does it for the exact amount of time. It weighs it, like the one that I have weighs how much is there, and it very rarely do you have to mess with it. You just have to remember to get it before it, you could overcook it, but that's it. And again, the shut off timer usually does it by itself. So you just know, you just look at it usually, and it'll tell you like 18 minutes. You'll hear it go off like a toaster oven. But it's actually fully cooking stuff. I've made some of the best pizza I've ever eaten in my life, and I give myself zero credit for it. Like, I don't think that I get any credit for the pizza that I've made recently. It's just the air fryer. It just does it awesome. More foods and I'm buying it. Why doesn't he eat? He needs to eat. Oh, all right. I got you. I totally got you. Totally got you. Maybe we can get your grandfather's cake. Maybe he'll like the banana cake. Banana cake's so good. He's a picky eater. I hear that. My dad, I guess, is a pretty picky eater too. Thinking about it. I'm not. I love like almost all food. I do keep kosher, so that would be the only. Like I sat with Mindy and Wendy because they wanted to get some Chicago pizza. Look at that, it's crazy. They're advertising white claws. What is this? Kids are fussy just like my daughter. Yeah. My kids weren't. Nah, I take that back. My daughter was a little bit fussy. My son was. But they. You know what? It's so cool that they both know how to make food too. They're both pretty good at making what they like. I know. I understood what you were saying, YG. But hey, sometimes a husband is like a kid, right, YG? Sometimes it's like having another kid. It's not good. I'm laughing now, but like when my life fell apart, that's literally how my ex felt. My wife felt like it's not like she had a husband, it's like she just had a third child that she was taking care of. I was like a doctor and had accomplished so much in my life, yet I was literally like another child for her. Sucks what happened, but that's life. That's the way she goes. I forgot the line, but there's that. really funny TV show called Trailer Park Boys, I think it's called. I think it's hilarious, but yeah. It's the way she, I think it says the way she blows. I think that's the line. I can't remember, but it's funny. That chick is jamming out to music. I like it. It's like really jamming out. I love when I see people that are like super into their music. She'll grow out of it, I just say, because her husband didn't grow out of it. So. YG, Rachel is your oldest, right? She's your florist. I don't think you ever mentioned any of it. I think Rachel is your little one for right now. Vegetables, fried up and doctored up with teriyaki or soy sauce. She likes the Japanese. I love Chinese food. Oof, love it. I love orange chicken and orange beef. And I love fried rice. Fried rice with eggs. Oh, some of the best ever. There's a kosher restaurant inside of the huge grocery store. It's the largest kosher grocery store in the world. It's called Jewel. Half of it was always just a regular famous grocery store. It's just they made this one location that's near the Jewish neighborhood. They made half of it literally a bakery, kosher butcher, kosher everything, all inside this grocery. And there's a Chinese restaurant in there that's awesome. Kosher Chinese food. In Israel, there's a lot of good kosher Chinese food because for some reason in Asia, they love coming to Israel. It's one of the outside of like just people coming from all over the world, Jews. Outside of that, Germany, I think, is the number one. Well, America, but not counting America, Germany is the number one for visiting Israel, and number two is Chinese, Japanese, Korean, all of Asia. I mean, you guys have to remember that. I love when people are like, "Where is Israel?" It's in the Middle East. It's not a continent. Israel used to be considered part of Africa, but as of the maps, look at these birds. As of the maps right now, it's considered Asia. By style, I got you. Yes, by style. Hang on, I'm catching up on you guys. She refuses to eat. That's not good. Ooh, Og Fuyong is the best, Amy. I agree. Woodman's up there. Kenosha was the largest grocery store. No, it is. Thaddeus, just so you know, I'm talking about kosher. I was saying the largest kosher grocery store. I have no idea what the largest. You're for sure. I'm sure you're correct. Love Kenosha, Wisconsin too. Great place. I wasn't saying it's the largest grocery store. It's the largest kosher grocery store in the world. No, but you're straight up today. I love Kenosha. Are you always up in Kenosha? That's one of my favorite places in the Midwest. Kenosha and Thaddeus, remind me where all the water parks are. We used to go there every summer. Come on. Oh, I can't think of it. It's the water park capital of America. It's in Wisconsin. Oh, the Dells. Something Dells. Wisconsin Dells. Am I right today? It's Wisconsin Dells? I think that's what it's called, Wisconsin Dells. I think so, right? Thaddeus, let me know if I'm right about that. Now it's bothering me in my head. I think it's called Wisconsin Dells. You used to live in that direction, but you're out west of the suburbs. I hear that. But am I right about the water park? Is that Wisconsin Dells? I think I'm right. The water park capital of America. We used to camp out there too. But my ex doesn't like bugs. She always freaks out. So camping out, once I got married, wasn't that we didn't camp out as often. I love camping out. Amy, I was trying to get to that too. That sounds like, yeah. Yes. Yes, Wisconsin. That's right. I was thinking you were Dells, but I knew it was Dells. Malibu. I think you are correct. I think so, Amy. I think Thaddeus does live in Wisconsin. I think Thaddeus had informed of us that a while back. Amy, have you ever been around the Midwest? Like not just like the big cities. Have you ever seen like? I always think it's interesting for people to see Wisconsin. Oh, I know where Fox Point is. That's awesome. So you for sure have been there. You've seen it. You've seen it live. I love it over there. It's awesome. Fox Point. I love it over there. It's awesome. Just in general. Okay, DeKalb. So yeah, so that is not that far from. I mean, you guys have to keep in mind that Chicago itself is 1 hour. If literally from my neighborhood, if I got on the highway with no traffic, I would be in Wisconsin within 30 minutes on the 94. I do the DAF YG. I'm behind. I am behind, but I do the DAF. Never to Wisconsin. Wisconsin is awesome. I'm telling you, it's so underrated. It's such an underrated spot to visit. Wisconsin is amazing. There's so much to do out there. And people forget that they still have the lake. Lake Michigan is beautiful in Wisconsin. It's the same, obviously, we're on the same side of the lake. So we both, Wisconsin and Illinois, get the sunrise. Do I know Ellie Stefanski? Let's just put it this way. I don't just know Ellie Stefanski. I've been super ridiculously close with Ellie Stefanski, who, by the way, is in Chicago right now, since we're kids. When he was a counselor in the Greater Midwest, I was just with Ellie. I went to Ellie Shear 2 months ago. He was here, and he's here again. He's still here right now. I'm part of the group, YG. I don't know if you're part of the group. He has a group on WhatsApp that I'm very much a part of his group. Yes, do I know Ellie Stefanski? You want to hear something crazy, YG? He talks about my story. He has once every 6 weeks. He says my story because it comes up in different Gemaros. But yes, I'll show you funny pictures of me and Ellie Stefanski, all from the time I was a little kid, and just 2 months ago I was with Ellie Stefanski. I did a live, YG, that you were in, where I was with Ellie Stefanski when I did that live. I was helping him out, and I was literally live with you guys, and I was with Ellie Stefanski. It's pretty funny. You thought you saw me driving north of an Illinois interstate last Friday. I'm trying to think right now. I would tell you straight up, don't worry, you're not doxing me. No, not last Friday. I do go there, though. That's funny that you mention it. Because Yechazel's part of his share. Yes, I know he's here. Very close to him. If you want, I'll send him regards. I didn't put him in my live out of respect for him, but I was helping him connect online because he does the DAF online, as you know. That's why Yechazel should listen to him. And I was just helping him out in one of the shows, one of the synagogues. By the way, guys, what YG and I are talking about is a very specific things that some Jews study every day. They do 1 page of the Talmud, and every 7 years they finish it. My dad actually started in the middle last time around, and my dad 1 month ago finished it because he did the second half last time, and now they're more than halfway through, and he did it. You should just know, YG, that was the last time I saw Rabbi Levin, Shmuel Levin, who passed away 2 years ago. I was there. I assume that he gave regarding the daf. We finished. I'll tell you exactly what we finished. We finished. One second. Wasn't Bob Basra. Oh, I can't. I'll remember, but we finished. No, today, so I don't think I was driving out there. But it could have been my brother, because my brother's around, and me and my brother look very similar. I mean, right now, he's a little bit heavier than I am right now, so we don't look... But there's been times in our lives where we were, like, in the same shape. We used to train with each other every day, jiu-jitsu, and we literally looked like twins, me and my brother. So it could be it was him. He looks very much like me, he just has a beard. And he's a little bigger than I am, but he wasn't, though, YG. He wasn't in my live. I didn't want to do that to him. YG, you might remember that I was sitting by a car, by one of those cars that's like by Hatzalah. It's like one of the, It was actually, if you look in my lives, you'll see that one of the covers of my live is a picture of me with the car sitting outside the show. Would have been silver. I would not. I'll find out today. I'll find out soon because my brother's going to be pulling up pretty soon. He's going to come pick me up from where I'm at. So I will actually be finding out very soon if it's silver. Very possibly. I had a silver, crazy silver Audi for a long time. I sold my car today, a little bit ago, because I had moved to the Middle East, and I'm back now. I have to get a car. It's been too easy for me lately with public transportation, but I do actually need to finally get a car. In fact, it's funny that we're talking about this because on Sunday I might actually be talking to the dealer that I always go to, and I might be getting a car finally. I want to get a very specific car. I'm very specific when it comes to cars. First of all, it has to be stick shift. I only drive manual. I refuse to drive automatic cars. It's so frustrating that almost all these cars today are automatic. I have a t-shirt that says, real cars do not shift themselves. I have a t-shirt that says that. I love cars. Cars is my thing. For real, my thing. Like, cars is like one of my favorite things to obsess over. Love cars. Cars. Love cars. So what is everybody else up to? I'm sure Amy's getting ready for Shabbat and YG's getting ready for Shabbat, but if you want to see something crazy, you should watch the scene that Ellie did in Lakewood. You'll see a major surprise in it. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I'm very close to Ellie. Ellie was he wasn't my counselor, but he was a counselor in camp. I've known Ellie since Ellie met me right after. Ellie's older than me, but Ellie met me right after the plane crash. So 1990, Ellie met me. So I've been, since we're little kids, me and Ellie grew up together. I know Ellie very well, very well. I surprised him the last time. He didn't know I was back in America, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and I surprised him by Shir, and he talked about me. I'll get texts on WhatsApp like every couple months. Oh, Ellie talked about you again. Ellie talked about you again. He told your story over. It's so funny that he does that. Especially when I show up. That's actually why I try not to show up. It's a little like, I don't know, like whenever he does it, I feel like guilty. He's such a powerful human being. We're talking about an unbelievable teacher. And by the way, YG, people don't know how special he really is, because he was not like, it's not like he grew up the way that he was always the same person. He was always the nicest, kindest person, but he got into learning later in life. He wasn't like when we were young, I was more into it than he was. I was like much more into learning. But back then I wasn't doing the daf. I was delving deeply into each daf. I wasn't finishing one a day. But I do, YG, you're reminding me that I really do have to catch up. Like, I really do. I want to do this. I want to finish with everybody else, and I want to go to New York. I was in New York the last time. The last CM I was in New York. I have pictures and videos in New York. And I'm close with Shmuel from Philly, and he's the one that did Shmuel did the major one in America, in the stadium, the New York Giants stadium. Yeah, it wasn't easy for him at all. I was much more into learning when I knew him when I was a kid. Yep, I knew him very well. I know Ellie very well. I mean, literally grew up with him. He's older than me, so he was a few grades older than me, but very much, very much very much a friend. Very much a friend. Ellie was amazing to me. He was such a good friend. Such a good friend. He still is. He's still such a good friend. I'm honored every time he talks about me. I'm really honored. He's become such a superstar in that world. Famous teacher. But yeah, YG123, I know him very well. Very, very well. As Wendy says, I know a lot of people. It's true, though, in all these different worlds. Ellie is a close friend. He talks about me, YG 123. He talks about me, Yecheskel, in his shir. There's certain Agada Gemaras where he stops and he says, today we're going an extra half hour. And then he tells my story. He's really funny. You got to check it out. He has it. If you like go on his page and look it up, you could look like it'll say like he'll use my Yiddish name, Sruli, Sruli, you know, they called me. It'll say Yisroel Brownstein, famous survivor, and he talks about me. I love Ellie. He's the best. Absolutely love him. I'll show him this. He'll love it that he was in my live. He'll love that. He'll love hearing this. You never heard him say it yet? You'll hear it. There's one coming up in a couple weeks. He called me a while ago to ask me a few questions to find out some more details. I'm pretty sure he watched some of my lives because he always wants to know more about it. So I'm pretty sure he watched some of my lives, guys. So he was in, Yecheskel, he was in our chat during the summer. He's not going to talk, but you know what though, he probably watched it on the replay, but he definitely watched some of the stuff. So Yecheskel, do you know him? Because if you don't, I will definitely introduce you guys. I think he's going to Baltimore next. And for all of those in the chat that don't know what we're talking about a very special teacher. There are other people I know he knows. I'll bet you there are, Amy. You met him a few times, Yecheskel. Yecheskel, next time you meet him, just say that you're friends with me. You'll get a big smile out of him. I literally grew up with him. Like very much every single summer for 8 years straight. And for a short period of time, he was in the yeshiva that I was in, but he wasn't so into it back then. I was into it back then. He wasn't as into it. But oh, really? Nice. I've never gone, YG. He always bugs me to. He wanted me to speak at one point a couple of years ago. He wanted me to speak, but I don't know why. I feel like whenever it comes to, I don't like propaganda, and he knows that. So I don't always like to. You got it. I will. I will come, YG. You know what? I will. I will, YG. I will. I will. I'll come with my dad. My dad always wanted to go. I'll come. I'll come with my dad. My dad will love it. He's been wanting to go for a long time. Ellie Stefanski's like a little kid to my dad. It's funny, but yeah. You got it, YG. I will come. We'll have a good time. I love him. He's literally one of my favorite people, especially within the context of like powerful, famous people. He's one of those unique people that has a lot of, he has an effect on a tremendous amount of people, and he always makes it a positive effect. He has like a tremendous positive effect on many, many, many people, and I love him for that. I do love him for that. A Jew, as they say. A Jew. Like a Jew. I gotta finally time to plug in my battery. Go out to get my battery plugged in. My phone is finally kicking down. Plug in my battery. Let's see, it should work. Yep. All right, plugged in. We're good. We're good to go. Still have a few hours till Shabbos. I'm waiting for my brother. I want you guys to meet my brother. But I'm really curious to know anybody that knows anything about what's going on in LA. I would appreciate it. I literally would. I would appreciate the info because there are certain aspects of what's going on that I want to know more about, but I just don't hear enough. I need to go on other people's lives a little more often than I do. I do go on Natalie's, and I will. Amy, maybe you'll help me figure out a way to get her attention, Natalie's attention. I have emailed her way before I started talking about my story, but so she knows I exist. But I do have to. To go. Yeah, I do have to. I'm trying to think of a good way to approach it. It's a lot to give. It's a lot of information to pass over to someone like Natalie for her to. But maybe she'll check out some of the interviews first from Wendy, and then maybe that will help her dictate how she wants to use it. Gave her your phone and get no response. So Amy, I will say this. I don't know if there's like a specific reason that she doesn't want to do it, but what I will say is I have gotten a very nice response from her, but I'll do it. But the problem is she's always like, send me a bunch of shorts. That's what she always says. And I was just like, that's kind of not going to work for this component. So I kind of stopped bothering her. She's always asking for shorts, and I just don't have, that's not, you guys know that ain't the way I roll. Oh, YG and Amy, if you guys check out, I recently put out shorts about I drove by the yeshiva I used to go to. I will say this without like getting into too much details, but Wendy is actually close with her. I agree with you, Amy. Wendy is close with her, so I think Wendy's taking care of it. And honestly, I think right now, this is my opinion, I think that you saw the shorts, good. Check it out, YG, yeah. North Park College and Tel's Yeshiva. But I will. You know what? I will. I'll email her before Shabbat even, Amy, and I'll let her know that we should talk on Sunday. I do know that attention was brought to my story by Wendy. So it could be that she's waiting out of respect for Wendy because I haven't finished my interviews with Wendy. But as Wendy said, we could easily do separate. I could do something separate with her that doesn't overlap. And Wendy's right. So I'll wait and see if she responds. I hope she does. You know, it's funny because if I would do lives more often, she would probably like have more interest in whatever. But I don't really do lives very often. I'm just, I'm not like one of the regular streamers, and so I think she focuses a lot on that. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way at all. I just think she focuses a lot on that. But it's all good. To each their own, To each their own. To each their own. But I saw a few things going on in the world of Scientology with regards to the concerts that I know that Lara is doing the concerts, and I'm happy that DOA is going to go out there with Lara. I really hope they don't have counter protesters. But you want me to pop myself into his lives? I'm there. I just don't. He talks enough about me. I don't like making people crazy. But YG, if you want, on Sunday I can go. We're having a party on Sunday. Just like get together with him in Skokie. I don't really think I'll be able to make it, but I can get him on. I can make a video with him, YG, for everybody in the chat where he can give a little speech. I will say I had a bracha on it. I'll let you know before when I go into his chat. I will. I've been trying to convince him to do a regular YouTube. No problem, Amy. You're the best. I'm trying to convince him, YG, to do a live on YouTube, like straight up the way YouTube is, because he'll reach a lot of other people that theoretically would be interested but don't know enough about Gemara, and they would get interested in the daf. I've been trying to tell him for a long time that he needs to do that, but he knows what he's doing, so it's hard for me to tell him what to do. Special person. The person we are talking about, guys, is a very, very special person. Very special. Extremely special. And one of my favorite people in the world. Legit, as they say. You know what, guys, I made? You guys will love this. I made the best slushie. Ooh, it's so good. Mangoes, because I try not to eat too much before Shabbos so that I can eat a lot on Shabbos. But I know he does YouTube, but he doesn't stream it like the way that he could. I'll explain it to you, but he could stream it differently where he would reach even more people. But hold on, guys, are you there? Is everybody still there? Let me know if you're still there. Guess what? My bro is on his way. Everybody's gonna get to meet my baby bro. Traveled here. My brother came in from. My brother lives in Connecticut, in like the wilderness in Connecticut. It's kind of cool, actually, where he lives. I haven't seen him in a couple years. It's really crazy because we're super close. So it kind of sucks that we haven't seen each other. So it's gonna be awesome. We're so close. My only biological brother. When I talk about my brother in Israel, that he's like my best friend and we're literally like brothers. And then I have one sibling that's trans, but when I was growing up, it was all girls and just me and my brother, and a bunch of girls, and just me and my bro. We've been troublemakers together for many years now. Many, many years. Partners in crime, as they say. Very much so. We make a lot of trouble. I love my baby brother. He's the best. You guys get to meet him. Hang on, guys. I'm coming right back. I'm actually trying to find socks. I was working out here, and I actually showered before. Way to go. Yeah, you'll love him. You guys will love my brother. Partners in crime, though. Definitely a criminal. He is definitely a criminal. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Tripping over myself here, but I want you guys to talk to him when he gets here. once he gets here. It's actually like nice and cool. It's like 72 degrees right now in Chicago. It's like nice, really nice weather. Like absolutely stunning weather, to be honest. To be perfectly honest. Sorry guys, took me a second to literally put my pants on. I was working out. I was trying not to get sweaty so that I could just be ready for Shabbos, which I succeeded. I did not get sweaty at all. I'm happy about that. Thrilled, actually. So where's the bathroom? When he gets here, I'm going to have him run the chat for a few minutes so I can walk down the block and pee. That's one aspect of this park that bothers me. But I'm here because the defender of the bench. There's a nice lady sitting at the bench right now, but if anyone else comes by. Again, today I was supposed to go straight to the lake. And turned around. I refuse to have them Colts promoting and recruiting in this beautiful little neighborhood. But YG, I'll tell Ellie just to shout out the Bruckela. I could tell him today just to make sure to shout out the Bruckela. He would do it for me. He would shout out the Bruckela. He's awesome, Ellie. He knows your family too. You probably know that, YG, but he knows your family. He knew Rebs and Betty. He knew Rebs and Betty very well. Very, very well. But he was part of the same world. That same world. That very same world. Let's see. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry. You love how I describe my brother? Yeah, he's amazing. He is, Rita. Wait, you'll see him. You guys are going to meet him. He's amazing. When he comes talking about anything, my brother is literally one of the most open-minded. The air is very fresh. It's coming off the lake, and it's not windy at all, and it's no humidity right now. I would say 0. You don't think he knows that you're part of that family? Well, I'll tell him. I'll tell him. I planned on speaking to him anyway on Sunday. Literally, you're bringing it up. It's funny because I got a message from him. He sent me a message on WhatsApp like 2 days ago because they just finally made a group in Pittsburgh. They finally made I mean, he's amazing. He's created communities. I mean, he's literally created communities. Because of them, there are literally communities of people that would have nothing to do with it. I am lucky that my brother's coming. Can't wait. We'll be here soon. Cannot wait. I just fully changed from bathing suit and no clothes to not quite ready for Shabbos, but close to ready. I wish they had a freaking bathroom here though. It bothers me. They need to get a bathroom. They need to get a bathroom here. But YG, I'll speak to Ellie. I'll send him a message to say hello on Sunday, hopefully. He'll definitely he'll listen to whatever I say. I'll tell him what to do. I'm in charge, not Ellie. But yes, Rita, I am so excited right now. You guys have no clue how excited I actually am. I've known for a few weeks that my brother was coming, and I've been like frothing at the mouth, as they say. I'm happy it'll be on this live where you guys will meet my bro. Hang on, I'm coming right back, organizing some stuff. I don't even know what car to look for. He'll probably call me the second that he gets close by. But I just want to say that I think that we should do our best. Everybody, especially in these chats that knows, we should be doing our best to support Laura as she's trying to tour. And you know, it was brought up today. I think those of you that know better than I do, I think, and well, there's no reason for me to think she's not, so I think we should do our best. We should do our best to support her. No. The one that lives in Israel, good question, Rita. That's my brother who's like my best friend. I grew up with him. That's a different brother. That brother is, you know, he literally is like another brother. But this is my only biological brother. I only have one biological brother, Rita. Definitely stay till he pops in. You'll love that he's going to be around. Yeah, I mean, we were just, as kids, he's quite a bit younger than me, but once he was old enough, you know, he's like 7 years younger than me. When I was in the plane crash, guys, talk to him about that. That's what you guys ask him about those interviews. Ask him about the plane crash. He was in the car with my mom. That story that I told, I don't know if you heard that part of the story, Rita, but there's a part of the story that I told where I was saying how it affected my siblings, and I was explaining how one of my brothers was affected tremendously by it, and I'm referring to that brother. So you'll meet him today. He's not the one. The one that lives in Israel is like a brother. He's a best friend, but he's like a brother. Literally like a brother, though. He'll call when he gets closer by. I was planning on sitting on the bench with him, but it's okay. There are good people sitting on the bench, as long as it's not the psychos. The Scientology psychos. My brother's amazing. I'm super stoked, guys, because he called me. He's on the way. So happy. Trying to organize some stuff for him so that I don't make him too crazy, because he's gonna probably bring me. He went shopping for me. Such a good deal. he actually cooked for YG and Amy and everybody else. He cooked for me for Shabbat. Either he did it or my mom did it, but he's bringing it, so I think it was him. I'm back. Sorry. What did I miss? Yeah, you will see. She's almost here. Making sure I haven't seen it in my hair. In the beach. Beach always makes me all, nope. My hair is all poofed up. Hang on. Sorry about that, guys. Oh. Sorry, guys. I lost you guys there. My fault. Sand in my ear. I thought I wasn't going to have to shower. Yes, you just fell. Exactly. Sorry about that. I am sorry about that. It's nice outside though. It'll be nice chilling with them before Shabbat. You guys will love it. By the way, he still goes. It's so funny because he's not part of like the religious Jewish world at all, but he still goes by Moshe. Moshe Chaim. I don't know YG or Amy if you guys ever heard of Country Yossi. That Jewish singer. Country Yossi. Sandy. Do I have it still pointed at me? I'm sorry. There we go, it's better. You love Country Yossi, so do you remember that song? Moshe Chaim lost his keep, but us just like spilled his drink. Rifki needs to go to the bathroom quick. It's dropped his ice cream, and if he needs a tissue, and he I have a horrible voice, but we used to joke around because Moshe Chaim is it's not that common of a name, and that's his name. Country Yossi was just joking when he said that, but that is my brother's name. Oh yeah? Yep, love that song. It has all of my siblings' names. All siblings. Every name. Chana, Leah, Dina, Rivki, or Rivka, Rebecca, Suri, Sarah, Moshe, Chaim. My name's not in there. Yitzi is my son. Every other name. We always found it fascinating that we were all under that name. Is that him? Hey! He's driving around. He's here. Park! You guys will love this. Here he comes. Oh my God, I'm jumping out of my pants right now. I'm jumping out of my skin. Oh, perfect. We're going to sit on the bench.
Hey, Mike, come.
Where'd he go? Drove away. Park right here. Park here. Park there. No one's gonna. No, we're sitting right here. Park here. You guys want to see my brother? I'm in another world, so happy.
Yeah, of course.
There's my bro. So there you go today. He has he has been driving a silver car. I think it's a rental. I don't think it's his because he flew here. Yeah, it's got to be a rental. Every time you drive. Yes. Yes, 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 exactly. That's what we do, right? That's the song. Oh, guys. You'll get to talk to my brother for a second. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can lift you up. But these all the people in my chat know. You'll talk to them. I have to go to the tracks to pee. I'll be right back to it. But here, talk to them. Sit on this and just.
I'm okay. I'm not gonna go.
No, they want to talk to you. They want.
I'm not gonna go.
Just you're not online. They're there.
What's up?
Here. The phone's died.
You still got your.
Yeah, here, say hello.
What's up?
Everybody say hi to my bro. Hi, why do you want to get to Cheskel? You like his beard, Yecheskel? He looks like a Rebbe, right? Hi, brothers. That's right. Oh, he's the best in the world. Love him like crazy. I'm going to actually let him babysit the phone while I go. And then I'm going to hop off the chat in a second. But give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. This thing needs to stay standing while I go.
Hold on.
That's the one thing, they don't have a bathroom.
My guyish friend
Yeah.
does craw. Hold on. There you go.
I'm gonna go quickly. I'm gonna be right back.
Maddie, we had to give some shit. What? We had to give it shit.
I need the biggest glass of water. Tell me all of that, everything. After I took out all of that.
What did you do?
That's a lot.
I'll be able to clip that live, like a picture of us. Because you know what I mean? I'll take a screenshot.
We'll also take a selfie.
Hmm?
Let's take a selfie.
No, for sure, but I'm saying even on this live, let me think about everybody. I told them I'm going when you're here. Okay, guys, can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me? Oh, now everybody's talking. Okay, well, now you got to say hello to everybody. Amy says hello. Yes, Amy, he says hello too. Rita says hello. This is my brother. This is my baby brother. He's the best in the world. It's been a couple of years, which is crazy. We're so close, so it's really weird to not see him for a while. But I'm going to shut down the live in a couple minutes, like a couple seconds actually. I want to see one thing.
Christ.
What?
Fucking great. I got great.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
I'm like totally, sorry guys, dropped you. I'm totally, yeah, 100. All right, guys, I'm gonna film some other stuff and I'll bring it live. But otherwise, Shabbat Shalom, good weekend to everybody. And Scientology is a cult. Love y'all.